automatically. Yeah, I'm getting.
Yeah.
Hello. Howdy. Hello there. Can you hear it? It's good? We're great? Oh my
We're good.
goodness.
We're good.
First
We
try.
got sound.
Hello,
Right,
everybody.
let me double check.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. Lydia's double checking to make sure that we have sound. Are we good? Okay, great.
Yeah, we're good.
This is Table Scraps. Technically, I guess this is Table Talks with Table Scraps. On the Paper Dungeon, this is what we are. Is it Thursday, which I had definitely forgotten, which is why we are streaming at 3 o'clock, which is like an hour later than I normally want to. So sorry. Sorry about that one. My bad. My B. Oh, geez. Man, how does this show even go?
How do we do this again?
I mean,
How do we do this?
Normally we start off with talking about the last episode, which is a thing that happened. If for those of you who don't know, which I don't know how you couldn't by now, we have a main campaign that we stream on Mondays at 7 p.m. CST weekly. You literally can't stop us from doing it.
No, we're
even if
unstoppable.
you really want to, and that's probably what we're going to start off talking about. In this last episode, some things occurred. Like a few small things, and then one real big thing occurred. Grant, I'm upset that you show up in the stream, and then you say, have a great stream, but you're not participating, and I'm a little offended. I just want you to know that. Grant is one of the players on said stream. But yeah, a bunch of small things, and at least one real big thing happened.
A few big things.
I mean, at least. I don't want to overstate things too much.
At least two big things happened.
At least two.
At least two.
Fair. I mean, we solved a puzzle with some wind. That's, we did it.
We did it.
The wizard of the coast is here. I'm sorry, as I can't exist. Hello and welcome. We then fought an undead 100-handed one, which I love. This is a very important thing. You can't stop me. I love Theros. Theros is my favorite Magic the Gathering world. It is maybe my favorite book. It is undeniably the best alternate cover of any alternate cover that they have released, and that is a hill that I will die on. Like, oh god, no, I need that.
Oh no!
I got too excited talking about Theros. Look at this. Look
It's
how
pretty-
sick
pretty
that
lit.
cover is.
It's pretty cool.
That's so good. God, that's so good. Like even then, let's see, do I have it here? Yeah. Even the normal cover, yes, I have both the alternate and the normal. Even the normal cover looks great. I mean, they're just using the, like, Magic the Gathering card art. But that doesn't matter because it's awesome. And 100-handed ones, definitely from Theros. Oh no. My poor little Dragon Boy.
Oh no,
Gonna need to glue
Aaron!
these things. I know. It's a good thing I have an extra one.
Aaron! Oh, that is true. You do have two.
Yeah. Well, actually, the wing just kind of slots right back on there. I will need to glue the foot, though. What a bummer. No,
Not the feetsies.
I know, the feetsies. Oh well, it's a problem for another day. Yeah, 100-handed ones, super cool, and it was undead, which was even cooler. I don't know where I'm gonna put this now. We fought it, we killed it. We took a lot of damage. It felt like we were losing, but we didn't.
Yeah, that was real weird.
yeah, it was a weird combat, wasn't it?
That was a weird combat. Like, we're not complaining about it, but it was weird.
Yeah, like, honestly, I feel like we successfully performed our roles as intended.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, no one died or got knocked unconscious.
No.
But
it was weird. It was weird.
It felt like we were losing the whole time.
It felt like we were losing the whole time, and I didn't mind that. I didn't mind feeling like we were losing, but it was the weird part was when we suddenly won.
Yeah, right.
And we all were like, "Wait, what?"
So like no one really dealt damage. So pretty much Cather kind of soloed it. But
Cather did solo it.
We couldn't like tell.
Yeah.
Because like I like Tarak didn't really deal any damage. Like he did.
I was able to
like,
at the end, but again, it was at the end.
But yeah, but up until that point, like I don't think you cast any damaging spells up until like the last round, did you?
I did.
Like maybe once before.
Oh, what does Renai even do? I can't remember.
Did you hit it with like an Eldritch Blast or something?
No, my first turn I tried to do turn undead.
Mm-hmm. Didn't work.
And that didn't work.
Yeah.
Second time around I did. Was it then that I did Spirit Guardians?
Yes, you Spirit Guardians there. And
so then I Spirit
Guardians
Guardians
on that one. So like you did.
But I got half damage.
And then it did damage.
And then it
at the
moved.
Start of the turn.
Yeah. Start of its turn, it took damage. And then it got back to my turn, and then I did inflict wounds.
Yeah, so like it was only like 3, maybe 4 rounds of combat.
That blows my mind. That was much longer than I thought it. It felt much longer.
When it does a lot of things, and you've got like 5 other turns, rounds take a long time.
That was strange.
I mean, by all technicality, Cather didn't solo it because there was the wall of fire that was definitely like carving into it the whole time.
Yeah.
I think that if we didn't have that wall of fire, things would have been much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the only other person who like Tarak damaged it once, like a little bit. Edward damaged it once, like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cather hit it relatively often.
Yeah.
Throughout the 3 rounds, but man, it really felt like we were getting dumpstered.
It really did, and I was so pumped for that natural 20 because I'm like, this is exactly
this is how we get back in this.
This is how we get back in. Like this is how we're gonna like know that we really. And then
It was a 1.
And then I was like, well, that.
No. I
Lame.
So regardless, it was at 1. I think it's actually really cool. Because like, could you imagine if you hadn't have crit and then he was like, it's at 1. That would have been even lamer.
I don't feel that way. I feel like, you
I
know,
absolutely do.
I feel like it took the like sparkle out of the nat 20.
No, no, no.
And especially with inflict wounds, it's like
It
that one
may
is
have
such a
taken the sparkle out of the nat 20, but it added sparkle to the kill itself.
that's true, but it wasn't supposed to be my kill.
I don't think that it was supposed to be anyone's kill.
I
I don't
know,
think that
but
you
it
get to
was
claim
like
this.
I know, but it was like Heather worked so hard.
I mean,
And I like just had little puppets that like popped up and
no. You see, that's the thing. We all did like chip damage. The majority of it was Cather, but at that moment in time, it isn't like this isn't a big story element fight or anything. Like this is just some random giant 100-handed one. It's like if we were attacked like on the street by like a mugger, and it's
I know.
like, well, I mean,
I think it
Cather's
was
been beating him down, so clearly this
I
is
think it
supposed to
was
be
just
Cather's
like
moment.
well then also since I brought it down to 0 hit points, I got the like Dark One's blessing thing at
Mm-hmm.
the end. And I think it was just the fact that it was like at this point, like it was just all so unnecessary. Like the natural 20 wasn't necessary, the Dark One's blessing wasn't necessary. We were like right there. We were right there.
Yeah, it was
So it was just like
it was the final trial.
and it was like, oh, you guys, I finally got my crap together. And it's like, we don't need it anymore. And you're like, cool, okay.
I think you're overthinking it.
I got it.
I think that the combat went really well. I think that it ended very
It
well.
went
and
really
I think
well.
It would have been
It
worse
went really
if you
well.
hadn't have crit.
I think it was dope. It hurt Lydia's heart in Lydia's useful meter.
Well, you see, that's the thing. Like, it felt like everything that we were doing was kind of pointless because,
Yeah.
like, nothing was working.
Right.
It was just, and also, so this is a real difficult thing when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to explain how damage is inflicted the larger the creature becomes.
The larger the creature, and it's already undead.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, you're fighting a Tarrasque, right? Like, imagine you're fighting a Tarrasque. Also, everything in 5e is actually, all the monsters are scaled down. Like, the size of a Tarrasque is, like, maybe a small town. Maybe a small town. It honestly might be a bit smaller than a small town. Old Tarrasques and, like, old dragons, literally, you could fit, like, a small town in the toenail of, like, an old Tarrasque. Like, old Tarrasques are huge. But even then, like, small town, it's like, if you stab it in the toe enough times, it dies. The damage that you deal to the toe is the same damage that you would deal to the face.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you explain that it just suddenly died? When it's like, oh, you've been hitting it into the ankle a whole bunch. Ow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, it never feels, as a DM, it's a big problem. Because it's like, your players are like, oh my god, it isn't doing anything. But there's no rules surrounding, like, targeting different areas of the body. And it's just a difficult thing. Because it's like, oh yeah, you've been, like, hitting the ankle and it feels kind of hurt. And then it explodes. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I am really happy with how it turned out because I was actually gonna use my turns for like other things that ultimately would have like probably failed. Because I could have done another turn undead because I have the amulet. I could have tried that again, but all that would have done was just make him run away from me. And then we wouldn't see him anymore, and then we wouldn't know when he was coming back. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that one. Then I was debating doing like Dispel Magic to try to get rid of the darkness. But I always hesitate with Dispel Magic when it's in like combat situations because I'm like, is it going to be strong enough? And if it's not strong enough, then I've wasted my turn.
And this was with the darkness, you said? What darkness? Like the...
Remember it was like the big guy and then like the hand would like come out of darkness and then things like that. And then it was like there's magical darkness around us.
I don't even know if that was like magical darkness. I think that was magically themed darkness.
Well, but then once he like died, and
It like lit up, but
it like
I
lit
don't think
up.
that you're wrong with not doing the
But yeah,
because
so then I was hesitant on
if
doing
there was a
that.
spell that was cast or something that was generating a spell effect, then it's normally worth it. But if it's just like a themed shadow,
Hmm.
and it didn't affect us at all. It wasn't like we had
Right.
like if we had all been covered in magical darkness and we had to
Yeah,
deal with
because
like disadvantage from like that stuff,
the
then it's worth it.
the idea was I would do the turn undead would work, and then as soon as it would work, I'd try to dispel magic to get rid of the
Hmm.
darkness so we could see where we were going. That was one plan. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up Renae's to remember what all I wanted to do because I had like three different plans in my head depending on what
Cheat sheet
happened.
is coming in hot.
Um, and then I was going to. Uh, I think that's the main one. That was the main other plan.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was it. Then it was like Spirit Guardians. I was really pumped for it, and then it didn't last.
It's best used in my so Spirit Guardians is a really good spell.
Hmm.
Really good. Anyone who has like played a cleric or a paladin that has access to it knows Spirit Guardian can be absolutely terrifying against like like it's always going to be fine. It's a lot better against like a lot of small things.
Hmm.
Like if it's like a horde of little like mephits or something like that.
Yeah.
Or something with preferably more hit points. Big things aren't as good, especially ones on the size of like this giant,
Hmm.
which is another thing because I bet you I'm gonna actually take a look at it. See if I can find 100. Logically, that would be like H, right? Theoretically.
Well, possibly.
Here we go. 100-handed one.
Well, yeah.
It is a size category of huge, what I believe is still only a size category above large.
Hmm.
So it's like you go up normally a normal human will go up to like the knee of a giant, like give or take, if I'm remembering my scale correctly.
Yeah.
Gotta open up
And the
my
other
book.
problem is it's like, well, it's not even a problem. It's just DJ's DMing style is he likes the one big monster. He
Yeah,
doesn't like to put us. He doesn't like to put us against like
well, it's
lots of things. He
hard.
likes to put us against one big one. Um.
Um, Part of the reason for that, I think, is time, and I
Oh,
think
100%. It's. I
it's a
don't. I don't blame him for it.
oh yeah, it's a bit
Like, and
more.
it's dope when he does.
Yeah, I think so. DJ is also used to in the past running with like 6 players. If you
Hmm.
have 6 players, one large monster, and like 4 smaller monsters, that adds so much time to an encounter that, especially if like the big monster has like multiple actions or
Right.
legendary actions, like every little thing just adds on. It's hard to remember to do it. It's just kind of difficult all around.
Uh huh.
Um, and 5e may have one of the worst like combat scaling things. It's just not well done. It's just weird and strange, and combat does not like single monsters. Not a fan of
Hmm.
it. But it's so cool. Like you want like it's a lot more lame to like fight like 3 wolves than to fight like this massive hulking like ogre or something like that. Like, but it's like no, the 3 wolves will on average be more of a difficult fight than
Right.
like one ogre. Um,
Right.
just because of their sheer number. Like it's not even that many. Like it's still
Hmm.
less than the number of party members.
Right.
It's so strange.
Well, and I like it. I like it a lot more now that we're at the number of players we're at, and the we're at the level we're at. it feels a lot more
Smooth.
spread,
Oh
like
yeah.
spread out.
Yep.
Because like I know like back when we were first starting, I would often feel like there was too many things happening in combat, and that like so there was a lot of things DJ was trying to navigate and remember and make sure was doing. And a lot of the time, I know I felt it a few times where it was like I didn't feel as involved in combat because of how much else was happening. Um, but
Yep.
now that we have
It's
fewer
a
players,
Yep. It's a bit smaller of a group.
it's a smaller group, and then we're at a higher level, so the monsters can do a lot more on their turns. He's spread it out a lot more, and I really enjoy it.
So I'm going to go back to size because it's just an interesting topic to me. I'm going to use the miniature that I broke earlier because I'm
Rip.
a big dumb. Um,
No, you
it
just got excited.
should be pretty fixable though. Glue can solve so many things. But so basically, this is a huge sized creature.
Mm-hmm.
It takes up a 3x3 cube of inch squares, so
Mm-hmm.
15 feet in game terms. That means that a normal human is around this size. Obviously, that is not the size of a mountain, right? But
Yeah.
it's like if you look at all of the imagery, if you look at all of the imagery for giants, especially those in Theros, I think we also encountered a Doomwake giant earlier in the campaign. These guys are huge.
Yeah.
They're massive.
They're
like,
really big.
They're just absolutely huge. So it's like how do you convey that? Like even to like
I
role
like
play,
to
it's
think,
like why would they even know that you're there? Like
right.
you are like
I like
ants.
to think that it's like our egos are so big it makes us larger because we're adventurers.
Yeah. I mean I guess like they feel your vibe. They're like, someone with a presence has entered my domain. But it's like that like well, like what are you supposed to do about that? Because it's like theoretically the bigger something is, the harder it is to kill.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like that would be putting a normal giant, like sure it's a 100-handed giant, but like a giant on the level of like a Tarrasque or an ancient dragon.
Right.
And that's just rough. Like I don't even know what to tell you. Like I couldn't do any different. But it's just I don't know a solution. I'll have to think more on this in the future for as to like how to deal with like normal sized things fighting things that aren't normal sized.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a real journey for me. Yeah, but then so let's continue on with the actual story.
Right.
We got
Right.
distracted.
Right. Spoilers.
Killed the undead
coming.
thing. Spoilers incoming. Found a bunch of darkness illuminated. It was great.
Darkness no more.
Found a
Bye.
bunch of gold
Wow.
and a boat.
Boat with
Yep.
wings.
A boat with wings. It's a flying boat.
With wings. It's a flying boat.
Went
It
into the boat.
flies.
Oh, by the way, it's
Got
like
on the boat.
it's like an undead flying boat. So it's
It's
got
an
like
undead flying boat.
yep, it's got like skin sails and bat
And it's like a
wings.
warship.
Yeah,
It's like
it's like a big
it-
boat.
it's chunky.
Went down. I keep wanting to say Terra Calamos, but his name is Takaram.
Takaram.
Takaram gets super depressed. We find out that the captain was a lich, but his phylactery is all destroyed and whatnot. So he gets his.
I forgot to ask about that. Who's killed him?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if anyone would know.
I don't know if anybody would know, but it's a present question that needs to be asked.
And the thing is, right? Like if this
we
is
didn't do it.
if this is the box that has his had his phylactery,
Uh-huh.
that means that someone was in here.
Right.
Mm. So
Right.
it's like that's a little. Is he still in here?
Yeah. That was where my
I
brain
don't
was
know.
at, and then I got distracted by shiny and.
But now Takaram can go resurrect his dead wife.
Uh-huh.
That'll be a fun time.
That'll be
Hopefully.
so
How
good.
much you want to bet it doesn't work? How much you want to
That'll be
bet
really sad. That'll be really
that
sad if it
DJ is
doesn't work.
like, well, it turns out that like it was a 3-time use magic item and it's already been used 3 times.
I'm
So now it
expecting
only
something really bad
functions.
to happen when
Or
it
like
happens. I don't
or
know
like
what, but something
his
bad's gonna
wife
happen.
gets full on like Full Metal Alchemist and it just returns as this like goopy bone mass of where it's like children, but its like lungs are all exposed, so it like just dies. Like how terrible would that be? It's like I brought my wife back, but then she's undead and then like dies.
Dude, I'm just expecting the worst. I'm
Oh, it's the
expecting it
worst. Yeah,
either I'm like expecting it to work, but it to be really, really bad that it
yeah,
worked.
100%.
Yeah.
Where it's like instead of returning someone to life, it like brings the entire world back to the point like right at the moment when she dies, so he has to watch it again.
Oh God. Oh no.
Just like super terrible. But anyway, so we find that he hasn't resurrected his wife yet. Who knows what'll happen? We
We
start
don't
to
know.
pilot the boat. We leave the pyramid of money, and then turns out we're 2 months in the future.
Yeah.
Been in there a whole 2 months.
Gosh.
Bunch of baloney. I'm gonna say it. It's a bunch of baloney. It's a pocket dimension. It should run on the same plane that it is a pocket dimension 2. That's how it's
But
like.
it's a lich's pocket dimension.
Okay, yes. Does a lich suddenly operate on a different time scale than someone else? No. The Feywild has weird time stuff because it's the Feywild, and time doesn't move. Time doesn't move in the Feywild. You can go from day to night by walking. Right?
But I'm happy that we got a kind of like jump forward.
Oh, I mean, I think it's great. I love it. I just think
I
it's a bunch
think
of
it's really
baloney.
dope. I am also heartbroken about it though, because that just sucks for our characters.
No. Let me complain about this a little bit more, right?
Okay,
So
sorry.
if you think about it logically, right? So it was said that or I'm going to call him the Dread Pirate Roberts for the meme. The
Okay.
Dread Pirate Roberts was able to like suddenly appear on his boat and then like blah 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 blah, and then he would appear somewhere else, most likely because he like brought the boat inside of the little pyramid, then had someone carry it. How in God's name would he know when to leave?
Yes, but I think okay. Here's a detail that might kind of help. The thing that leads the boat
Is it
is a watch.
does that control the time thing?
I don't know, but it
Because in
relates to
that
time,
case, we should be able like he to
and we don't know how it works. We don't. Karen doesn't know how it works. He just was like, "I'll figure it out."
Now, I don't know if I think I talked to DJ about it because I'm like, this is a thing that Track needs to do. Track needs to figure out how to get this whole time thing. I literally told him, I'm like, doesn't make any sense that it's completely random. There has to be either a way for the person on the outside to press a button and bring anyone who's in there out. But that makes it real rough for the people in there because for all they know, they go in, they're like, all right, let's go make some food, and they like put on a pot, it starts to boil, bam, they're out of there, and they don't get their ramen. There's no way to know that. So it has to be something maybe from the inside, but then by that logic, you can't go in there without the boat. Like unless he completely deactivated the boat every single time and then went into his little triangle with the watch.
You know, I think we're overthinking it.
I think that it's just a bunch of baloney. I don't think DJ thought it out when he was like, "Oh man, maybe we can throw him 2 months in the future."
I mean, it is a little fuzzy, but it's also like it's magic. So
yeah, that's a broke excuse. Look, everything has form in this world, whether it be magic or fighting. Now, some of it doesn't have to make sense, right? Where it's like, I don't understand why this punch from like a 3-year-old would deal 1 damage. Because 1 damage is like almost the full health of a commoner. But what in the game sense, it has rules. 1 damage is 1 damage, whether or not it be from a 3-year-old or an ancient arc lich. Rules are required for the game to function correctly. If you don't, then we're just talking.
Well, you make a solid point.
So this is my statement. I will figure it out, and if I have to make the rules for this weird time pyramid dimension myself, I'll do it.
Okay.
That is my statement, and I'm sticking with it.
Sounds good.
So, there you go.
What were all the magic items that we got? I wasn't paying attention. Do you get
teleported to the same place whenever you enter the pyramid? Like, is there only one way into, because we all ended up in the same hallway, right?
Right.
So do we then have to go all the way back through? Because I'm pretty sure that the passageway is blocked, right?
My thing is, I'm like, I don't want to keep going back into the pyramid to get this ship, you know?
I mean, I don't care about getting the ship, but there's a whole lot of money in there that technically we don't have accessible unless we can get into and out of this pyramid.
Well, no, there was a detail that DJ said was that all the skeletons were, like, storing the
Well, yeah, but wasn't there like a whole bunch of gold like outside of the boat? We had to get gold off of the ship for it to even leave the ground.
No, I think you just did that.
No. DJ said, I mean, one thing that would help is if there was like less gold. Like just covering the ship.
I'm gonna be honest. The whole session is really fuzzy for me. I don't remember a lot of the details.
I remember everything perfectly, and my memory is flawless. That is a complete lie. Don't quote me on that one. But it's like, does it need less gold on the ship? Because I don't know. It seemed just because you can't see the gold doesn't mean it's lighter.
well, but then Catherine was putting it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, but we were walking to the boat, like looking for magic items.
Sam, I don't know. I wasn't there.
I think
I was, but I wasn't.
I am pretty sure that there is a whole bunch of gold still in this pyramid, and it's basically like a really good portal wallet. Also, there's no reason that a bag of holding should be allowed in there because it would technically be a pocket dimension and a pocket dimension, which would cause a rift in the astral plane, sucking anything within it, into space.
Well, no, because remember, like, when I was talking with Grods, it was like, so is every dimension like a pocket in a pocket? And he's like, yeah, just lots of pockets.
I think that's DJ answering incorrectly.
Anyway,
dimensions
I remembered something.
And pocket dimensions are two very different things.
What was it?
I will speak the logistics. What was it focused on?
we could just keep this pyramid and just like if anybody gets like real bad, we just trap them in the pyramid.
I don't know if that's a thing that we want to do.
Just make a prison.
Then again, I don't know if it can be entered unwillingly. Although I suppose that we could just have them on the boat. I don't know how to get the boat back in the pyramid.
You just touch it. You just touch the pyramid to the boat. It's still in your hand, right?
No. So I had a hologram pyramid inside of the pyramid.
But that went away.
But I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist when we're outside of the pyramid.
I really don't know how this pyramid works, and I
don't think DJ knows how this pyramid works, and you best believe that I don't. But I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay, so anyway, what magic items did we get?
Oh,
I know I got potions. We got like potions. A spell scroll for a spell I already know.
Yeah, but like, Grant's interested. Edward likes spell things.
Also, I know a thing that DJ put in there, and I'm not happy about it. But it's okay. I'll tell you about it later. And then Catherine got shiny new armor.
Yep. Catherine got some stuff.
We got the bag of holding that Drew's very possessive of. And then
Okay.
He's not very possessive of. He was very adamant about having it.
Well, yeah. No. Okay, he was like, well, does anyone else? So the question was, who's carrying the bag of holding? No one responded.
Well, then I was saying I would take it, and then he was like, well, I mean, I can take it too, and things like that. I'm like, well, if you want to take it, you can take it. He's like, and then we just kept discussing it. And he's like, oh, I take it. And I'm like, okay, you can have it.
I was like, I mean, Lydia's the one that takes notes.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm the one who takes notes. I have records of like the past magic items we have.
I don't know. I think that it was Because I think that there's still more discourse, and he was like, "Fine, I'll just take it. Whatever, it doesn't matter."
And then he freaking was like, continued to like take inventory in the middle of RP moments, and I was like, Drew,
No. He's got a very.
We can do this after.
No, he would forget what we're obtaining afterwards. That's difficult and hard to do.
And then so we got the bag of holding, we got the shiny armor. What did Edward get?
I don't know.
He got the spell scroll. That's what he got. I got the potions. What did you found the bag?
Yeah. I love Tarak finding magic items that like people are like, oh, that's really great, and then just hating it. He's just like, that's a bunch of garbage, just a bag with a hole in it.
Gosh, I hated that.
No, I think it was great.
But when Tarak, like, because I always feel so weird because I don't want to, like, know your decisions. But when you, like, chucked the bag, I was like, wait, no, I really want that. And so I had Renaya see it and go after it.
So this is the thing, right? This is the thing that I think that DMs do too much. I will always prefer to give my characters a portable hole rather than a bag of holding. Mm-hmm. Portable holes are the coolest thing ever. They're so great. You can do so much with it. You can put it on a wall. Bam, hole through a wall. You can put it on the ground. Now you've got a place to put your stuff. And you've got a pit trap if you really want it. Like, portable holes are great. You can fit so many more people logically through a portable hole than you could through a bag of holding. Because like everyone's like, oh, I'll hide it in the bag of holding. No. The entrance to the bag of holding is that big. If you can fit your body through that, you have problems, my friend.
Right.
Or you are some strange creature that you need a doctor. Or maybe you already have had one. Portable hole, you don't have that problem. It's like a 5-foot gosh dang hole. You can throw so many bodies in that thing.
I have a hot take. So I actually get really stressed out when we find treasure and like magic items. Because I'm already attuned to as much as I can be attuned to, and the stuff I'm attuned to is like stuff I can't really unattune to. Like I can unattune to some of them, but I don't want to because it's like my holy symbol and diamond treasure, and then Ruat, who I'm stuck with.
I mean, to be fair, they're also like, I don't know what exactly you would switch out for it.
Right.
Like I don't like those are pretty good.
Like, potions are good. It's cool that we have potions. I never remember we have them.
Oh, dang it. You can't create an open passage. That is my bad. But that does mean that you can magically just make a hole. Like, you can get a piece of paper, unfold the hole, bam, now it's 10 feet deep. That's great. Oh, man, portable holes.
But yeah, so potions are cool. I don't know if he said it on the stream, because I don't want to say it if he didn't say it on stream.
Message it to me over Zoom. Well, maybe over Zoom. So,
make it sure it's secret. Don't let them see it.
Either that, or you can send it to me over
just text
Snapchat
it
or something. Yeah,
or I'll text you it. Okay.
And as answer to your question, deforestation, yes and no. Are all bags of holding the same size? Probably not. Probably not. They probably do make like duffel bags of holding. But if you are judging from the ones in the I need to just keep this book out. In the Dungeon Master's Guide. Bag of
I want to spill the tea. I do. I'm seeing if I'm allowed to.
I know. He said that there were more spells, like, on the boat, but we did not know what the spell scroll was.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'll spill the tea that of that. There is a gosh no, because that also gives stuff away. So there's a spell scroll on the ship that is made for a specific character, that is put on there for a specific character to have. And if they get that, then it makes a thing that I'm gonna be getting here pretty soon not as special, and it makes me sad.
I think it
But
will still be special.
It will be special, but
Because,
then it will be like
yours is weird.
Mine is weird, but they'll both be able to do the same things.
No, they won't. You have way more capability with yours. His is just a normal thing.
Yeah, and I mean he does he
It's
he
like,
does deserve it.
congratulations. You can also, I'm pretty sure, like, its fortitude is not as, I'm pretty sure it has like 1 health. Like yours has like actual like stuff.
Oh, you're revealing too much.
I don't think it. I'm pretty sure that spell doesn't function as that. But anyway, Bag of Holding.
I'm gonna look into it.
Hold on. It looks like this. It's a satchel that is roughly 2 feet across and like 4 feet down. So theoretically, you could probably manage to maybe fit yourself, like a small creature could probably fit through the hole of this bag. But like if you have ever tried to fit your whole body into like a bag, it's not easy. If you are anything other, like Lydia probably could. Lydia, you're pretty small. I could not fit into a bag that has a 2-foot diameter. Couldn't do it. Not a chance. But the funny thing that I just realized is that it says, regardless of the content, it weighs 15 pounds, which is hilarious because it could be completely empty and still weigh 15 pounds. That is like not light for like most bags. 15 pounds is like a surprising amount of weight. But yeah, so that's got a Bag of Holding. That's a thing that occurred. Wow, so it weighs 10 more pounds than the average handbag. As for getting inside of a Bag of Holding, a lot of people, like, anytime it is introduced, like, anytime that you introduce a small container that fits a lot of stuff, people are going to try to put a person in that. Like, I don't care what age range your players are. I don't care, like, what the theme of it is. Someone's going to be like, wait a second, you mean that I could hide inside of this bag? And you're going to be a fool and answer yes. Is it a bad idea? Sometimes. You have, I think, 10 minutes of air inside of the bag. After that, you have to hold your breath. And obviously that is decreased by the number of people in the bag. So, like, if you fit, like, 5 people in there, it's 10 minutes divided by 5, you've got 2 minutes air. So, yeah. Yes, I mean, come on. We're probably going to do it. Someone's going to do it. It's probably going to be Ed. We're probably going to be like, Edward, we're going to sneak you in this bag.
Probably going to be Edward.
Because he's, like, the only one. You and Edward are the only ones who could, like, fit into this bag. Because Catherine and Tarak are too big.
I think what will happen is Edward and Renaya will be on their own, and then they'll be like, oh, we got to get in the bag.
Yeah. So, like, it's going to be something.
Where, or like, Tarak will be like, hey, you two should get in the bag. And we'll be like,
so, okay.
Yeah.
Imagine this world. We're running through a town. Bam, the guards find us. But, like, they're, like, approaching us, but they don't know how many of us there are. We're going to shove you two in the bag. And then they're going to capture us, but you're going to be fine. You're going to come out of the bag and then free us. That's going to happen.
It's less of like a clown car. It's more of a void.
Yeah, it's literally, it's a TARDIS. It's a felt TARDIS.
But it's not even a TARDIS.
But like a small TARDIS.
It's like, it's not even a TARDIS. It's just a void.
Yeah.
There's not like you're just in there existing. I think like you should like lose your mind a little bit in there. It's like the like, what are those called? The like tanks you can go in where you
Oh, the
float.
sensory deprivation chambers?
Yeah, it's like that. Just a big vibe. Just vibing. It's floating. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. Oh gosh. But yeah, 100%. Somebody's gonna end up in that bag, or we're gonna
this is
put
what I
some
think.
poor NPC in there and find out that way.
This is what I think. I think that the bag would most likely operate similar to the astral plane. Rather than having like a flat ground or like, oh, you just, because there's the spell Demiplane that literally just opens like a stone closet for you to like put your stuff in. um but the bag of holding, so if the bag of holding breaks, if it's like put inside of another bag of holding or some other extra dimensional space,
Mm-hmm.
um it explodes into the astral plane, which to me makes it think that like there is some kind of connection between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably say that while you're in there, you move similar to how you would in the astral plane, aka you basically just think and then your body moves where you're thinking it's going to go.
Oh gosh.
Which is why it takes an action when you put your hand in there to pull out the thing that you need, because you have to put it in. It isn't like you dig around in it. You just think, and then the item suctions to your hand. It's just not very refined. It's just an open, as you said, it's just a void. Whereas like Heward's handy haversack, which has less carrying capacity, but doesn't require an action to take things out of, is more of like a small sectioned, like it probably has a ground in there. Like you don't have to think the item into your hand. You just reach and grab the thing. That would be my thought process. It's how it goes. But yeah, we are going to put someone in this bag eventually, even though I disagree with the fact that we probably could. But Edward's kind of small. Edward's thin.
Edward is slender.
Yes. Yeah.
He's
Like
a slim
I feel like it depends on your constitution modifier. If you have like more than a +1, you're not fitting in this bag. Like Track, there's no way Track is fitting in this bag. But like if you have a +1 or like 2 10 negatives, yeah, you're probably pretty. If you're a small creature, you qualify. I don't know. Maybe that's a weight thing. Then again, it also can only hold up to 500 pounds. So like, depending on like how much the person is carrying when you throw them in there, like let's say you hand Edward 5 20-pound weights, right? Now he probably can't carry them, but you like strap them to their bodies, then you just throw.
Then you just like throw it over his head.
Yeah. Yeah, and yes, it is strange, but there is a weight limit on the bag of holding.
Does it just like not let you put it in the bag? Is that what happened?
The bag can hold up to 500 pounds, not exceeding a volume of 64 cubic feet. But regardless, it weighs 15 pounds. I have no idea. Oh, if the bag is overloaded.
Yeah.
If the bag is overloaded.
We are 100% carrying all of her stuff all of the time.
I have like
Jack is still carrying an eyeball from a dragon. Yeah. I have a giant warhammer that I just drag around with me all the time.
By the way,
I don't use it, but I carry
Drew
it.
asked me. He was like, "Yo, do you want to put the eye in the bag?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to put the eye in the bag. This is my eye."
Dude, Drew was driving me crazy with that.
I loved it. But yeah, if the bag is overloaded, so if you put over 500 pounds, it ruptures and is destroyed, and its contents are scattered in the astral plane.
Ooh.
Which is hilarious.
So don't overweight.
Now you want to talk about a way to put away a bad guy. That's how you do it. Is you put in 499 pounds of weight, and then you just throw the bad guy in there. Bam, into the astral plane, gone forever.
Yeah. How big is it?
Now, admittedly, you lose your bag and anything in it.
Use your bag, but at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, you semi-permanent. I mean, to be fair, that might be worse Because, like, then they just have kind of free reign to go wherever they want. Like, they don't die. But it's unlikely that they'll find their way home easily. Assuming...
Right. Make it somebody else's problem. Is essentially what you're doing.
If they're a spellcaster, then it's not that hard. Like, plane shift is a really easy way out of this one. But, like, low level, you get yourself a bag of holding, you can eliminate anyone. just punt them. Just get out of there. Also,
get out.
I would love a campaign where, like, we spend a significant amount of time in the astral plane. Because like, it's hilarious to me because there's a lot of spells that interact with the astral plane. Mm-hmm. One of the best ones, and I can't remember the name of it, is you basically get just a little, like, chest. Like, you get a little chest that's like it's sizable. You just put your stuff in it, and then it just hangs out on the astral plane. But if you die or you forget about it and you don't summon it back, like, within a month, it just disappears forever. So theoretically, there's thousands of these tiny little chests filled with people's incredibly valuable items that they never wanted anyone to find, just floating like space debris through the astral plane. Like, how funny would that be, where you're just like, oh, well, time for me to go to a different dimension. The bam, get cracked in the head with, like, this, like, 5-foot chest. You open it, and it's like, there's a whole dead body in here. Like, what is going on? Like, that just sounds super entertaining for me. Oh, and Chase, as there is an actual rules for how putting a bag of holding into another bag of holding works. And it sucks anything within a 15-foot radius, including both of the bags, into the astral plane to be lost forever. That's a real thing. It's actually, you can find it. There's like a diagram. There's a diagram of how you can put, like, wrap an arrow with a portable hole, and then put the head of the arrow inside of a bag of holding, and then fire the arrow at the enemy, so that way the bag hits the enemy, the arrow goes into the bag, and since there was a portable hole inside a bag of holding, it immediately sucks the creature that you fired the arrow at into the astral plane. Like, that's a real thing.
Gosh.
Now, obviously, doesn't always work, and there's a lot of things to go wrong. But yeah, so if you're ever playing Dungeons & Dragons and you have two like miniature planes, don't put them inside of each other, because everything will explode. And then most likely, it's a really good way to accidentally lose a character, especially if you, like, don't know about it and your DM is not kind. We're just like, oh yeah, I mean, throw the portable hole in the bag of holding for now. We'll get it out later. And then gone. Like, 15-20 foot radius of space just deleted. Which is what I was talking about, where it's like, if this biotechnicality is a pocket dimension inside of this little tiny triangle, portable hole in there should have caused a rupture on the material plane, and we shouldn't have been able to find either of them because they shouldn't have existed. Which means that this isn't a pocket dimension. This is a demiplane, which is a completely different situation. And demiplanes don't operate on a separate course of time.
The amount of rules and things you know, I don't understand. It's like, your freaking brain is the astral plane, like, and okay. I don't get it.
So could you imagine a world, right? So there's the spell Demiplane. The spell Demiplane, the one that makes a little stone closet.
Aaron, I don't understand these rules. Everything you tell me is new information for me.
It creates a door. You open the door. There's a stone closet in there, right?
Okay.
Stone closet.
Stone closet.
You close the door.
Close the door.
And open it.
Open it again.
Still a stone closet. Now I want you to imagine you put an apple inside of the stone closet.
I put an apple in there.
You close the door. You open the door. How much time has passed for the apple?
I don't know.
About as much time as it took you to close and open the door.
Okay.
Because, so the thing is, right, so it lasts for an hour. That's how long the spell lasts. So you can open and close that door for 1 hour.
Okay.
It would be real bad if you could put someone into it, close the door, wait for an hour and open it, and 30 years had passed to the person inside. Right? Right? So it's like, if a demiplane is made, it has to follow the rules of time according to cardinal law, like an overall area of time.
Okay.
Because it works.
But what if it's like, what if it's like a freezer where it's like that in there the time doesn't move or time slows, and then while time's going on around here, then you can open it and the apple's still the same.
That would be real busted.
Because that's kind of what happened with Prism.
Because then you could put, like, let's say someone has a disease, right, and they'll die in 5 minutes. And so you open up a demiplane, put them in the demiplane. You can close that demiplane, wait for like 80 years until they have a cure, reopen the demiplane in like 5 seconds has passed. The spell doesn't do that.
But that's what the Prism did.
Yeah, and it shouldn't, because that's not how demiplanes work.
But are you sure it's a demiplane?
Yes, because unless it is literally an alternate dimension, of
because
which
if it's a pocket.
No, it's not a pocket dimension.
Because it's not a pocket dimension. Because if you put the back of holding, then it would have been bad.
Yeah, it would have been real bad.
But
it would have to be somewhere that you could theoretically move to with the spell plane shift. Which means that the something on the level of that
my brain is really
would
hurt
require
right now.
literally the different planes, the different dimensions were made by like the creation goddess. Which means that she was just like, what if I just made a pyramid? Now if she did, that would be sick. Where it's like, well, what if I just made a dimension that was inside of this tiny little pyramid? That would be great, but that would also mean that this is older than like any other creation known to man.
Oh my gosh. I'm overwhelmed by information. I can't figure it out.
That's because you're not supposed to. That's because there isn't an answer. That is what I'm saying. I am going to I'm running for president of making the magic items that DJ didn't think through work.
Okay.
That is what I'm running for.
There
is no challenger to my position. I'm guaranteed to win.
You're gonna win.
That I put in my own vote.
100%.
So I'm just gonna end that statement there. You can hear this anytime that DJ gives us a magic item, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You'll hear it here on Table Scraps. I love DJ. DJ is one of my best friends. I love playing Dungeons and Dragons with him. Everything that he like, I love the way that he does
DJ's a genius.
Things. He's great. He's really, really awesome.
DJ's a genius. Aaron's just insane.
But part of my greatest joy is picking on him, and so I will find every possible chance to do so. And that's just what I'm gonna do. So if he makes a bad puzzle, if he makes a bad magic item, even if it's good, but I can find a little tiny thing to question, I'm gonna do it.
I know you will.
Also, Table Scraps being its own podcast is an interesting thought, and I think it's something that we have, like, not necessarily the Table Scraps itself as a podcast, but like I know that Grant's a big podcast guy. Grant loves podcasts, as you can tell by every single time he's like, hey, YouTube podcast, we love you guys. We do.
We do.
But yeah, I mean, I'd be down. I don't know when we do it or what we do, but I literally describing when, like, before Table Scraps has started, I got Grant to be like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, by me being like, so imagine it's just like a podcast, but live, and you can see us. That's how I described it. He was like, was like, oh yeah. And then he was like, should we like edit the table scraps into like a podcast thing for the podcast? And I'm like, Grant, it pretty much already is. Like, it'll be just put it on the podcast, Grant. He's like, oh, yeah, it sounds great. Grant's obsession with podcasts is wonderful. I've never been a big podcast guy. Never have.
I when podcasts were first becoming a thing, I was like, oh, what? I didn't know what podcasts were. I didn't know podcasts were a thing.
I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube. Never been a big podcast guy. Like, if I'm listening to something without seeing it, it's music.
I watch a lot of TikTok.
I don't have it.
That's what I do.
I've never downloaded TikTok. Never will. I say never. There is a chance that I will at some point, but it'll probably just be for business, and I'll use it in the same way that I use Instagram, which is Lydia sends me a thing and says, hey, Aaron, I just posted this thing on Instagram. Do you really like it? And then I'll look at it, and I'll be like, I don't know why I had to check, because I like pretty much everything that Lydia makes. Done. Oh, man. Also, I don't know if it was ever talked about on Table Scraps. This is not even talking about the main campaign. You made for Between the Rows. Mm-hmm. You made that like sick like poster image.
I did. Yeah.
I need it as a poster for me to hang right here, and I don't know how to do it.
I can do it for you.
Well, how much? Give me a number.
I will do it. No, because I have another thing for that. I was going to say I'll make it your Christmas present, but I have another idea for your Christmas present.
I'm fine with multiple Christmas presents.
I am too. I just can't afford them.
Exactly. I'll do it myself. I just don't know how to. Gosh dang, I don't know how to do it.
We'll do this. I'll help you. I'll help you do that.
Yes, inform me 100%. Afterwards. Inform me afterwards how exactly to do this gosh dang poster thing. I would love. I don't know if they would, but I would love if we could one day get to the point where we could like legitimately sell your posters.
Dude, that'd be dope.
It's a thing that I want. I don't know how we would go about it. I don't even know if anyone wants them. I do though. Like,
well, that was my hope. I was like when I made that one, because my thing is I'm like I've still got a lot to improve in art, but when I was putting it together, I'm like, it would be so freaking cool if I could make this like a legit poster that like Aaron could like hang up and like do it every year between the rows.
That is a thing. I like, literally one day, I'm just gonna have a movie wall where it's just each individual poster for the Between the Rows seasons, and that's what I'm gonna do. Also, yes,
I'd have to make one for the first season.
Please compliment Lydia more. And one of the best ways to do that is by going to her store and buying her products. Because they're really good. And like, oh shoot, I'm not wearing it right now, but I have some of them somewhere.
You have the journal?
Yep, I do. It's right here. Bam, look at this. It's upside down. Look at that. Look at that. Bam, Property of the Deep. She has a whole line of like warlock stuff, and she's doing a whole bunch of other things, and she has hoodies and things. Chase is telling you to work on your international shipping.
Dude, it's hard. Give me some time. Buy her stuff. Also, I can't tell you what it is, but right now Lydia's working on a big project for us. I'm working on a huge project.
And you won't see it for a real long time. And I can't tell you what it is.
It'll be a bit.
But it is literally one of the pieces is my favorite thing that she has ever done.
When it freaking drops, you're gonna lose your mind.
I already am. It's gone.
It's gone. I didn't have one to begin with, so can't lose what you don't have.
Mind empty.
No think. But yeah, so no, I do want to. That was one thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to make like a poster for every year's Between the Rows.
It's really good. I want it really bad. I am a sucker for a good poster. If it is a poster for things that I like, I am even more. Even if it's a poster for things that I don't like, I'm like, looks pretty good though. Like, I have the two Legend of Zelda posters. You can't see the one that's over there. But if you go back to early episodes, you
Yeah,
can, because it used
it's in
to
the
be,
early episodes. You
Yeah.
got them like bam bam.
Um,
Wow.
yeah. You know what else we should do? We should find it.
What?
Like, isn't there a way to like? I bet they would also work as like phone backgrounds, like pretty well.
As like your phone screen?
Yeah, like your phone screen backgrounds. I bet that would work like super well. I don't know if there's a way to digitally sell that as like a phone background. We can sell anything. It's all about money here.
It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour.
Humbug. Money is my only god.
I don't know. We'd have to like look into some stuff.
I'm going to force you to sell so many things that you never intended on selling.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. I consider everyone in the chat at least a half friend, and half rounds up.
At least.
I'm just gonna say it. So. I mean, then again, it depends
caught me off
on.
guard.
Okay. I don't know if I'd say like a strong. I would put it like a 49%.
40, not even 50.
Not even. Okay, 50.
Wouldn't...
As I said, 50 rounds up, and that gets real dangerous. People start to think they know you really well.
That's true.
But like 49% still rounds down to 0, so they don't get too confident. Like.
Yeah.
Like if we ever get to the point where we're like able to go to like conventions or something, even if we could like get to the point where we have a booth, which is it's kind of a long-term dream, but it's a possibility. I don't want people to walk up to me and act like I like knew them from like high school. I just want them to say, "Hey,"
just give them 49%.
Yeah, where it's like they offer a handshake, they don't go straight in for the hug. That's the goal.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, just for future note, in case big dreams happen and we ever get to meet anybody in person, don't hug Aaron. You can't hug me, but don't lift me off the ground.
And also, always ask beforehand.
Yeah.
Always ask. Because if I'm on a really good day, there's a chance it's a slim one. Very slim. But it's also, consent is important. Regardless of what
consent is important.
Always ask before any form of physical contact, unless you have prior knowledge that it is okay, which we are telling you now, it isn't. So keep that in mind. Hey, well, this is an educational stream, right? We preach education here.
Aaron, you're one of my favorite people ever.
So this is just a thing. Chase, that's the complete opposite.
What? No, do not. No, because I'm really fragile and you'll hurt me.
Don't lift Lydia off ground.
Don't lift.
Don't. The don't are very important there.
Don't. This was actually a genuine rule we had when I went to visit you guys in Idaho. It was a legit rule. I was like, I'm all for hugs, but don't lift me off the ground.
Yep. I'm not.
You will injure me. You will crack a rib, and I'm not down for that.
So, Bird Bones Lydia.
Bird Bones.
That's an excellent way to start off a conversation by saying, "Hello, I am blank," and then
Hi.
I'd be like, "Oh, yo, it's good to see you," and then I would probably offer a handshake. I'm fine with handshakes. Handshakes are okay. Other touching, not a huge fan. Not a big touch guy, believe it or not. So you know the like.
Actually, I am afraid of heights higher than 5 feet. That's why I'm constantly scared as I stand at 5'4".
Exactly.
Never-ending fear.
So the whole like this is we are real far from D&D, but this is what
that is okay. I'm down.
I just find it funny
We'll
because we're in the D&D section of Twitch still.
We'll get back there. We'll get back there.
We'll end up there.
We're just taking a break.
The whole like 5 love languages thing that like some people like super vibe with.
Yeah.
There's like physical touch, words of affirmation, time spent, gifts, and something else that I can't remember. I only remember the first 4 because I literally scored a 0 in physical touch and like a 1 in words of affirmation, and the only reason the words of affirmation was a 1
Dude,
was
And then
because
literally
it was paired with physical touch.
for me, it's like it needs to be all 5 all at once, or I think you hate me.
Yeah, no,
Like that's how my brain is.
I'm a big gift guy. I like to give gifts. I like getting gifts. I like stuff, even if I know that I don't like need it, but I like stuff that I need more. Little information about Aaron. I like things. Things are neat. Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons is a game that we play here on the Paper Dungeon.
Anyway, yeah, Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons. It's just like,
But anyway,
Dungeons and Dragons.
2 months of time passed while we were in the thing,
Right.
for no
2
reason.
months of time passed.
And bad stuff happened in that.
Bad stuff. Yes. Spoiler alert again. Maxius is dead. This city
we
in
never really knew him anymore.
the city in Rivaluna is dead.
That place we've never been to.
This place we've never been to, but it's something to Cather.
Yeah, Cather cares about it.
Who cares about him? And then we got a bunch more enemies somewhere. Don't know who.
Everywhere. So much. Everyone got kicked out of...
everything's bad. Oh, yeah.
Everyone got kicked out of the archipelago, Articuno. I don't remember what his name is.
Athalas got like 2 dragons.
What's that? Oclaron. That's the name of it. Everyone in Oclaron kicked out. Whole country. Gone.
Whole country. Bing, bang, boom. Yeah. So now they're like... Now Lada and Kiamura are in like... the border with a bunch of refugees. Yep. And I'm looking at my notes. 2 dragons came to Thala. Then they fled to Vaxalan. So now we're currently heading to the Vaxalan border to try to find Kiamura and Lada. Also, why the frick did Kiamura not tell me? Well, because 2 months had passed. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, were you still able to cast the like message spell to him while you were inside of the plane, or no? Did we ever find out?
I don't think I tried. I don't think I tried to.
So this is an excellent question.
Right.
That I mean, not anything to do with Kiamura. This is back to me asking questions about this magic item. I'm so sorry. Does the movement in time happen when you leave?
Gosh, I don't know,
No,
man.
because when we were in the Feywild, didn't you like write to Lada? And then she was like, I mean, it's been like 3 days or something like that, even though it had only been like one.
I think technically time would pass once we got back.
That's so weird.
Because that's when we roll. That's when we roll to see how much time has passed.
So, like, in reality, time functions exactly the same until... I'm more okay with this explanation. But that means that it has to do that every single time that you go through a plane. Every single time. Because that means that the movement between planes causes problems.
I don't know.
That's what I'm going to blame. Also, how unfair is it that only on the rolls where it's like, if you roll high, it's longer time.
That's bad.
That's
and
the
then
ones
you roll
that
high.
I roll low? Like, what the
Your
crap?
freaking face when we're like, who rolled that? They're like, Aaron. And you just go...
It's just I would assume that the time thing would be a good one. Like, you would want less time. Less time is good.
Oh,
More time is bad. But anyway, Track doesn't care about it.
Yeah. There's undead ogres, there's trolls, there's giants that are all like doing bad stuff and places kicking everybody out. Groups have visited the Alzar dwarves to try to get help, and none have gotten help.
Track cares about that.
Yeah, there's that. And then we don't know, dude. I'm still really upset. I'm really upset by the fact that I used both my sending spells on Kiamura. And then Kiamura's freaking with Lada. And so I could have just written to Lada and Lada could have given me the same answers. So then I couldn't do sending to talk to Cather's sister. I couldn't do it to talk to somebody else.
The captain of the boat that we need to help us pilot this boat
Captain
during
Argos.
the day. Yeah, that's her name.
Yeah.
Megan. One of the two.
Megan.
Although one of them is dead. How much you want to bet DJ killed Megan just so you didn't have to deal with there being 2 NPCs named Megan?
That's rough. Why did it? But he always does this. He always makes duplicates of his NPCs. There's 2 Megans, there's 2 Sams. Like, what do we do here? Everybody's duplicating.
Yep. I mean, look, it's really hard to come up with names on the fly, and you just go with some like.
I think it's like DJ has like what I used to have when I was DMing World was like you have a list of names and he just forgets to cross them off, so he just goes back to the top, and that's.
And it's even worse because I'm pretty sure it's mental, where he's just sitting there and he's like, "All right, let's examine the list of names," but it always scrolls from top to bottom, so he always hits the same names. Names are hard. Names are hard.
Names are hard.
But anyway, as to the question that I always ask it this time, although we're an hour later than I normally ask it.
It happens.
Thoughts on the events? Do you have any plans for Renai after this? I know that you do.
I do.
Has it changed anything? What are Renai's thoughts, feelings, good things, bad things? Hit me with it.
Okay, well, things have definitely changed, and I know we chatted a little bit. The stuff we chatted about, scrap.
Doesn't matter. Ooh,
because I rewatched the episode and I forgot a lot of details, or like my brain took things differently than how they were. So, yeah. But yes, I have lots of ideas. I don't know when we're going to level up, but when we level up, it's gonna be pretty neat. Because I've got a thing planned, and then, well, it'll be neat for me. But then, okay, so, I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. I never know.
Table talks, there's no rules here.
Yeah, but Lydia's learning that sometimes secrets are good.
Oh man, it's crazy. Oh, what a strange statement. I've never heard you say that before.
I know. I mean, secrets are great when you share them with me. Anyway, so.
I'm gonna keep so many secrets now.
No.
I'm not gonna tell you anything.
Well, you never tell me anything anyway.
No, I tell you more than you may think.
I mean, but it's never anything like, you know.
So I think.
It's never anything that I'm like, what? It's more stuff that I'm like,
I'm,
that's cool.
You all think that when I'm like DMing or playing, I'm always like, I'm so good at like being like an absolute pain and being like super interested. That's just how I am. Like I just talk like that. Like that might be the case. Even it totally is the case.
Well, no, but the thing with you, Aaron, is you're a freaking mastermind.
I think that people only think I don't think I'm actually that good.
but you are. Like, okay, so you notice details that like all of us put into our characters that are really small that nobody else notices. Sometimes you pick up on details that like I've put in that I didn't even notice I had put in. But
yes.
it'll be like it's like I think a great like analogy for this is like when I show you my art.
Oh yeah,
when I show
the dumb
you my
squiggles.
art,
I love them.
I put like little details into stuff, and you are always the one who spots them. And you're always like, wait, zoom in on that cheekbone real quick, and you're like, look at that squiggle. How did you do that? How did you do that squiggle? And then that makes me feel all whoa, because it's like somebody saw my squiggle.
So, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, you go to artwork from Lydia, which you can find on our Discord under the fan art tab.
Whoa!
So I'm going to use the picture of the Silas Smooch from Between the Rows.
Silas Smooch.
Lydia does this thing with art that I don't understand how it works. And there's a lot of different things about art I don't understand. This is a big one. If you look at
hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
The sleeves are a big part of it. Like, oh shoot, what's her name? Oh, thanks, Lydia.
I'm on it. I got you. Are you talking about my character, Aubrey?
Yeah, that's her name.
The one you always forget her name.
I can never remember her name. If you look at Aubrey's sleeve, right?
She's dead anyway.
If you look at the sleeve, there's a bunch of, like, specifically at the right section of the sleeve, there's a little, like, 4. It looks like a 4 drawn upwards with a line, and then there's, like, an L shape. That's really impressive to me, because I would not have put that there. Why did you put that there? I don't know.
Wait, what? Where? Repeat that. Sorry, I was pulling it up.
So, if you zoom in on Aubrey's shoulder in the Silent Smooch picture.
Yes.
Cut the shoulder in half, look at the right side of it.
Uh-huh.
There's a squiggle that is a long line down, and then there's like a swoopy
Oh,
L.
yes, I see the 4.
Why is that there? It looks great. I don't understand why you would put it there. I wouldn't have put a thing there.
It's like a lot of my squiggles are like shadow.
Yeah, it's shadow, and it's literally just, you just go whoop, and then bam, there's a shadow there. And I don't understand how you do that. Because I suck at that. But, like, at the same time, there's like legitimate shading. It isn't just lines. Like, if you look at Silas's cheekbones, that's shading. That isn't blush. He's not wearing makeup as far as I know. So it's like, oh yeah, we're just kind of shading, squiggle. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm dropping my tortilla chips.
Not the tortilla chips.
I know, I just found them.
You just got them.
But yeah, it's like, so stuff like that really impresses me. You can see it a lot on cheekbones, and in, like, anytime that Lydia draws, like, background for stuff. Like, there was one, if you scroll way up to September 14th, there's Groxt and Ranaya, like, sitting next to each other. And if you look at the stones in the background, there is so much good squiggle.
Gosh, I love a good squiggle.
It's wild. Like, it's just a thing that I don't understand how people do. And she, like, offsets lines to make it look really good. I don't understand how she does that. But the wonderful Deforestation asks you a question. Who has been your favorite character to draw out of any session or campaign?
I think my favorite, oh gosh, I think as of, like, the ones I've enjoyed the most doing, I think were actually Sawyer last year. Was when I would draw Sawyer, because she has, like, really curly hair, and the curly hair is fun. But then, as far as, like, recent, I did, Drew asked me to do a portrait of Cather.
That's a really good one.
I really enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun. I like when I get to do, like, faces. Faces are fun for me. So I really liked doing Cather's face. And then I also really like doing art for Drew in general, because Drew gets really hyped about it if it's really good. So he gets, like, super excited, so you get, like, a reaction, and it's like, okay. It's like
Can I just say, it makes me sad to, like, look at your art and then look at my art.
Well, don't don't say that.
Not because I think that my art is bad. Like, I mean, it's we draw in very different styles as well. Is another thing. Yeah. Like, I'm a big fan of a lot more, like, cartoony, like, proportions. I tend to draw. I'm not a color guy. Not good at color. It's not what I do. I draw in black and white. I love, like, charcoal and pencil. But it makes me sad, because I want to draw, like, I want to be able to draw like you do. Or at least, like, that element of, like, realism, because it isn't like yours are, like, lifelike. It's not like, it's not like looking at a picture. But there's, like, a grit to it. I love grit. Like, my favorite art that I have drawn, I like paper more than digital. Because there's so much more grit to it. Like, it looks so much less clean. which makes the mistakes more of like a characteristic than an actual mistake. Because I make a lot of them. Like, if you look at the difference, one of the things that I posted on the fan art is I had pictures from... I drew a horned elf that I actually played in a small campaign earlier. Like, before the paper dungeon. But I think I played it with... I think that was with Hannah and you. I'm pretty sure
I think
were
so,
there for that.
yeah.
But I drew it on paper first, and then later, once I had, like, digital application, I drew it on digital, and I love the paper just so much better. And it looks fine digital, but I can't get grit digitally. I can't do it. I don't know how you do it. I think it's something to do with the squiggles that I don't understand. Like, anything that I draw digitally is just way too, like, the line work is too clean. And there's no smudges, there's no, like, uneven breaks or movements of the hand. Like, I don't know how you do it. I just don't know.
But yeah, I think I actually struggle a lot with the lines too. The thing I struggle a lot with is like dynamic stuff. So getting it to look like, not getting it to look so stiff.
Yeah, like portraying movement.
Yeah.
That
or like
is
even
incredibly difficult.
even
Like
facial expressions are really hard. Facial expressions are really hard to
I don't do faces.
get. A lot of facial expressions I end up getting are unintentional.
It's really strange that I've drawn so many portraits because I hate drawing people's faces. I hate it so much.
So I love and hate. We have a love-hate relationship with faces. Cause
I hate them, you love them.
No, I hate and love them. But I'll draw a face, and then what I do a lot of the time is because I draw it all digitally, I'll flip the canvas. I'll mirror the canvas to see what looks wrong, like what looks off. And then so much looks off all the time.
You see, I don't know how to flip the canvas, so I don't have that problem. Ignorance is my greatest of friends.
And then I love and hate drawing Renaya too. Because I love drawing Renaya because Renaya's Renaya. I love Renaya. But I hate it too because I'm not good at consistency. I'm not good at getting Renaya to look like the same exact person every single time.
I couldn't do... Well, I might be able to do that, but it would have to be the exact same picture.
Because it's like, and that's one trick I use is I actually have like a specific person that because I use photo references.
Yeah,
I found a specific person's face that I think looks a lot like how I envision Renaya's face to look like, and I use those as my reference, and I have like a bunch of different angles of that face saved. But still, I can't nail it. I can't do it.
So I have also realized that, so unlike you, I can't use photos of people. I can't do it. It's just not a thing that I have. What I can do, I can use references of other art. So like, if it's like something that someone else has drawn, I can use that. But I've mentioned, I think before on Table Scraps, it kind of feels like cheating for me. But I've recently learned that I am able to use real life reference. The reason I had that dragon sitting there was because I was using it for reference earlier. I was like, oh, this is actually fine. But I noticed I originally had it sitting on the table to the side of me. And I'm like, why does this look so wrong? It looks like where I want it to be. And then I realized it's because the perspective is from below it. Because it's real big. And so I had it sitting down here, and it was like looking pretty. I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty all right. That looks pretty good. Then I'm like, oh. But it's from above. And that's not what I was aiming for here. So
gosh, when Secret Project drops, I can't wait to talk about it with you.
God, I'm pumped. I wish so bad that I could talk about what it is, because I want to talk about my favorite thing in it
I know.
so bad.
I know.
It's
now you
so
know my
pretty.
pain with everything.
It's so pretty. I want to talk about it so bad.
Okay. Anyway, we gotta get back.
We gotta
We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. Okay. So Maxius is dead.
Yeah,
Blah,
didn't
blah,
really
blah.
know him, but okay.
Yeah, weren't super connected with him, but not good that he's dead.
Yeah, like, oh, bummer.
So now we're heading to go meet up with Lada and Kimura. And then you were asking me how I was feeling, if I had any ideas
any
for
plans,
future
thoughts,
episodes.
and you're like, I don't know where to go.
Right. So, I don't know how much I've talked about on here, but I don't know how much I want to talk about. Gosh, we're back in the same rut.
I mean, if you want to think, I can maybe try to stall for you.
Yeah, take it away, Penny.
Penny?
It's a SpongeBob quote.
Oh, well, that would explain it. Never watched SpongeBob. I know. I'm a weak man. Track, I kind of mentioned it briefly. Track, it isn't that he doesn't care. It's a real bummer that, like, a bunch of people have died.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, Track is a little bit desensitized to this, because it's like, oh, so now these people are experiencing what my daily life was for, like, years. Like, they are officially now in a war. This is like where this is honestly more normal to Tarak than it has been up until this point. Which is something that would be kind of cool to kind of explore depending on what we do once we're there. Now, the real question that I have, obviously, our plans change now. Our plans have changed as for what we are going to do now that we're out of here. Because originally, it was, we were going to get out, we were going to head back, going to be like, hey, we stopped this army, good luck on the whole Athala siege thing. If there's nothing for us to do here, we're going to head to the Alisar Mountains. Who knows if we'll even head to the Alisar Mountains anymore. Or at least how long it'll take before we do. Which is a bit sad, because I was real pumped. I was real pumped.
See, I don't know. We might end up still going, because remember there was like...
That's why I asked.
well, and then the answer was people have tried to go and get help, but nobody's gotten a response.
I asked because if I didn't, no one would remember that we were going to go to Athala. And so I was like, maybe there's still a chance that we could go to the and I've learned it is the Scarlet Wastes. Scarlet Wastes.
Red Desert.
I'm still going to call it the Crimson Wastes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I was literally like, wow, straight up, the Alisar Mountains have not been mentioned at all. I should probably ask about them. And so I did. And I'm glad that DJ was just like, why would you ask that question? We don't have anything to do with the Alisar Mountains. That's dumb. Because now there's still a chance.
But he didn't say that.
But who knows? Who knows if we will?
Because I think that was actually like a route for us to actually go there.
I plan on exploiting it as much as possible. But, like, who knows? I don't know what we're gonna do. We might get there and they're like, we could really use you guys on the front lines.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
But we don't know. They might. It's a possibility.
I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna get there. We're gonna meet with Kimura and Lada. We're gonna spend maybe a few days there to try and help out there as much as we can, and then we're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna go to the mountains.
And we can't let Kimura come with us. Kimura's not allowed.
Kimura's can, but he's gotta leave the hammer behind.
Nope. Leave him out. Get him out of here.
I want Tarak to straight to be like, nope, not coming with. Nope.
Sorry.
Not allowed.
Not part of the group. Get out of here.
Nope. Nope.
Sorry, Cather.
Get out.
Nope. We're good. That's yeah. I am very concerned as to why the All-Star Dwarves aren't responding.
Right.
Which could be very
That was
interesting.
what I was concerned too.
I mean, obviously. Now the question is, are they not responding? Have the messengers that they sent come back?
Right. Are the people coming back? Are they just not able to get a hold of them? Or are they, like, denying it? Or are they killing them?
Literally, does no one know? Like, have they just disappeared?
Right.
Like, no response back, does that mean no messengers have returned, or does that mean that no messenger has returned with an answer? A lot of questions. So I mean, obviously, we're still going to end up going to the All-Star Mountains eventually.
Right.
I don't know how much we're going to do up until that point.
Right.
So we're just gonna have to dabble. We're gonna have to see what goes down, what's popping.
What's popping?
But yeah, Track's not too concerned about like Athala being messed up, because like at least the people were already out of Athala. Like, it would be more of an issue if it was like some
people
random,
like trapped in there.
And that would be a real problem. But and the like, what is it? No, it's not the Lunaconen. That's a mountain range. The Rivaluna. Got everything sounds the same. Gosh dang fantasy names. Rivaluna, Talaira. I'm pretty sure. Is that the world? Where are we?
Yeah, hold on. I had to write. I wrote this down in my notes.
What is going on? If you notice,
places. I literally have a tab of places.
Anytime that I like need to speak about the planet, I don't know what the planet's name is.
Continent of Talaira.
What is
country of Ocleron?
What's the planet named?
I couldn't tell you that.
Because like sometimes it has come up at least like.
Is it in the intro? Because if it's in the intro, I should have it written down.
To the world of
Nico Muris.
Yeah.
That's the world.
Yeah.
That's the first line.
We are
we're
the
worst
players.
We're so bad.
So bad. Oh, but yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's the sitch. I'm interested to see how the Drew's thing, how that city got like busted.
Yeah.
Because like that isn't close.
What happened there? That's wasn't
not nearby.
That wasn't related to this. What we were doing. Yeah.
As far as I know, it isn't nearby. Also, are they in charge of like the whole of Ocleron, like the entire country?
They were like one of the 4 major cities.
No, not the not the elf place. I'm saying, so like the survivors of Athala all got kicked out of Ocleron.
Yeah.
So like, do the monsters have the control of the country?
Oh man.
Because like that seems like a thing.
I'm so lost. There's so many places.
War never changes, you know.
And it's like I told you, when it starts getting like lore drops, my brain goes.
See, that's the real thing. I think the real reason that people are like, oh my god, Aaron, you're so schemy. It isn't that I'm schemy. It's that I'm actually able to stay awake when someone's monologuing about some random indescript thing, and then I just kind of file it away. It's from years of reading fantasy novels that were frankly just too large.
See, my brain just slips, like my brain slips into like not fully paying attention, and then I'm focusing more on looking like I'm paying attention than I am to actually paying attention.
So I have actually read Lord of the Rings, which is a better claim than most people think, because the Lord of the Rings books suck. Like, okay, no, they're good books. Viewer, hey Kingsley, hello,
welcome.
We're talking about the Baby Dungeon. I'm talking about Lord of the Rings. If you ever want to know whether or not someone has actually read the Lord of the Rings books, ask them which was better, the movies or the books. Because if they say books, they haven't read them and just want you to think that they have, because the like books are always better than the movies. No, the movies are better than the books from a sheer media value. The books they're like an atlas. Have you ever tried to read an atlas? It sucks. It's terrible.
I like that you're literally just like, hey, so people who have this opinion, they don't. It's invalid.
No, it's wrong. The movies are, from an entertainment value, the movies are better than the books. It is different if you talk about The Hobbit. The Hobbit is a fantastic book. Like, in terms of entertainment value, it's very well written. But, like, reading the original Lord of the Rings is literally like, yes, here we see Glorn, son of Gloin, child of the fifth dragon. And it's like 4 pages just talking about the lineage of this random dwarf that dies on the 5th page. DJ, are you asking what I'm doing in an hour?
Yeah, he messaged on Snapchat too to ask what you were doing today.
Well, let's see. For me, it is almost
DJ,
5
we're
o'clock.
working right now.
Yeah, we are on the clock. As a manager of the Paper Dungeon, you should understand what is going on. But let's see. It's 5 and about an hour to 6 o'clock. I need to leave at 7. So I have a free hour of time. That's the answer to your question. But yes, if you're ever reading Lord of the Rings, stop. Watch the movies. Read The Hobbit.
Just stop it.
Read The Hobbit. The Hobbit's great. If you're looking for an example of really good world building, that is a reason to read The Lord of the Rings. In terms of actual entertainment value, fine, but it's a slog. It's an absolute slog. But yeah, that is what my claim to fame is when it comes to like hearing lore drops and like listening to like a person ramble about like some vague part of like a Dungeons and Dragons world or some other like random series they're reading. That is a skill that I developed is from a very young age. For those of you who didn't know, my other claim to fame is I read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 3rd grade, and it was a terrible book.
My claim to fame is I hula hooped for over 7 minutes.
That is incredibly impressive. I can't hula hoop for like 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, that's the thing that we do here.
Where were
not
we?
Books. Although I would love to just talk about, if anyone ever wants me to talk about like what books that I read or read, I will. I'm just throwing it out there.
Aaron can and will talk about everything.
For a long time.
But yeah, as far as the episode plans, ideas from it, I think Renai's kind of in a similar boat with Tarak, where it's like, okay, well, yeah, that doesn't sound great. Like, this stuff doesn't sound super great. But I think the main motivator for her is seeing Edward and Cather really passionate about it, and seeing Lotta still really involved.
Like Lotta's in deep.
Yeah.
No. You say your thing. I will hold. Because I like to think Renai is a lot like me, when she is, because I play her. Yeah.
Where if it's out of sight, it's out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of things for Renaya, it's like if it's not like super present, like in her day-to-day life, she doesn't really understand her need to get involved with it.
Yep.
And there's some other things knocking around in her brain that have her definitely on a different viewing path than I think the other party members are on. Which I'm super interested to like dive into and explore.
Renae's got a lot of problems.
Renae's got so many problems, but I love her for him. Anyway, what were you going to say?
I was going to say I would be really interested. I would love if Tarak got to like advise like a war general, like if like that was like part of his position, like he just got to be like no, you're going about this all wrong. Like, what are you doing? Strengthen that right flank. Like, we're gonna need spears in this gosh dang ordinate. Like, I will if that is a thing that I am presented with, I legitimately will research like equivalent wartime tactics and like, positioning and modules. I'll do it.
There's so much war going on,
bro. I'm pumped.
We've got the main war going on with.
Who doesn't love war, right?
I don't. We've got the one in Athala.
We do not advocate for war here at the Paper Dungeon.
No, we don't.
We don't.
We've got the war going on in Athala. We've got the war going on amongst the gods. We've got the war going on amongst the demons and devils. Dude,
Oh God, my neck.
it's
Ow.
it's gotten to the point where it's like war doesn't even need to be a word anymore. It's just normal.
Yeah, welcome to Tarak's daily life. This is one thing that is super super funny to me, is because like, I would love if eventually people just got to the same position of like the orcs. Like it would be like for Tarak, that is kind of how he views it, where it's like, this is legitimately like stepping into a world that he's very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Like a survivor camp. Survivor camps aren't that far off from like an orcish warband. Like they're pretty similar, except they probably have more food.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just going to be an interesting interaction where he's like, I don't know, this seems like pretty all right, actually.
I have a question.
I might have an answer.
So it's been established over the past year that you and I think very differently.
Yeah, very.
So when it comes to making decisions for Tarak's thoughts and how Tarak acts, like when it comes to like just being Tarak and deciding things that Tarak is going to do or how Tarak thinks, how do you go about that?
I go, what would Tarak do here, and then I do it.
Well, right, but like, man,
So
this is why I don't ask
so
questions.
Tarak is also a very easy. Tarak is a kind of an easy. Tarak is very straightforward. Like that is so. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it well. But when I make decisions as Tarak, I can kind of just, a lot of them I can kind of just do the first thing that comes to mind. Like there's actually not a whole lot of thought that goes behind a lot of the decisions. And then I also mix in some good meta, where it's like the decision to fight the dragon one-on-one. That was the thing that like we ended when I fell into the dragon pit, and I was like, this is undead. We're gonna crush this. I'm gonna fight it alone. Because I think that'll be interesting. And so thankfully I already had some things like written and in place that I had planned for. Like back when we met Terra Colomos, I was like, I would love a reason for Tarak to like know about dragons. Not a lot, but like to know of them, like what their whole deal was. And so I came up with the a thought process that I don't actually think has been explained yet. But there is an orcish tradition that involved dragons.
Right.
Yeah, and so this is another thing, and because it was like, oh, we're gonna talk about this like once we leave the pyramid. No, we're not.
Right.
That's not a thing that's gonna happen.
Right.
We may never talk about it, and I'm so down with it. Because Tarak's not gonna start it. Like, be like, hey guys, this is why I did this thing. No, it's not Tarak's problem. Tarak just did it, and he knows what it means. It's good enough. But for a lot of decisions for Tarak, I mean, do you have any specific decisions in mind?
No, I just wanted to know kind of like how you approach Tarak as a character kind of thing.
I think of as like core values. Like what does, like, rather than thinking about every specific, what is Tarak's thoughts on climate change? No, I think of them in very general topics. Where, and so this is kind of how I do pretty much everything when it comes to roleplay, especially even as small as like talking to other people. I have a bunch of words and sentences and lines just sitting around, so that way when a situation comes up that I can slot them into, I have them prepared. Same kind of thing goes for like character decisions. Is I have a bunch of general, like, yes or no, would Tarak do this? And then I just kind of slot it into whatever fits. I just threw 2 pencils across the table.
That's impressive.
Completely accidentally. I just did this and then bam, gone.
Dang.
And it's difficult for me to explain. Part of it, I think, is that I do think I am pretty good at whatever you would describe getting in character as. Like, when I'm playing Tarak, I don't think of Aaron thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I only think from the perspective of Tarak, which is, I don't know why that's a thing that I do. It isn't a skill that I trained. Maybe it's due to the fact that I played way too much D&D for like 3 years. And so, like, there was 3 years where pretty much I was in a different headspace every like 4 hours. So I just kind of got used to being able to do that. I don't know. But yeah, making decisions is less making decisions than it is already having decisions made that you can use. That is kind of how I run it. How do you run it? Because if you can explain it, then I might be able to explain my own better.
So, well, I actually feel pretty similar. Like, we do pretty similar things. My thing is just, for Renaya, it's different because Renaya doesn't have, like, set core values. Renaya hasn't figured that out yet. And I was just interested because, that has been one of the things I've been trying to work on in developing with Renaya is like getting her started on figuring herself out. Because one of the things that I really like with Renaya is that she's very young, and she's all the experiences that she has had have all been kind of set up for her. Who she's supposed to be and what she's supposed to do was already predetermined. That even goes with Lada. Lada didn't know what to do with her. Lada's not a mom. Lada doesn't know how parenting works. And also, this is a fully grown woman that she's dealing with.
Yeah.
So Lada was just like, okay, well, here's what I do what I do. And so Renaya's never had the time to actually develop herself as a person, which is something I've been trying to navigate, which is hard. But a lot of what I end up doing is I try to think back on, like, things that have happened in the campaign that have influenced Renaya. I tend to forget things a lot, though. So
I think I may have found a better explanation, because I think we're thinking, maybe not, I don't know if it's of different things, but thinking of them at different levels. So when I talk about core values, I ask myself a question. And I ask myself a lot of questions. But one of them that I would normally ask is something like, insert characters walking alongside a road, and off to the side they see an old woman with a broken leg. What do? Do they help them? Even you don't have to explain, like, in depth, like, oh yes, I'll take her to this place and then order a nice bowl of soup. No, it's the question is, do you keep going or do you interact with them? That to me is a core value, because if you keep going, that tells you in basics, like, this character will not in general help people that are out of their way. If they do, then they will. That is how core value it is, because I legitimately think those are still questions that you could ask as Renaya. Like, if Renaya was walking along a road alone, and off to the side she saw an old woman with a broken leg, what would she do?
Is this rhetorical, or am I supposed to answer?
I mean, you can answer.
I mean, she has healing magic. She'd go and help her.
Exactly. So that to me is a core value. Renaya is willing to help people who are in danger, or who are hurt or injured or something along that method. And then we can kind of get into the question of why, because, like, I don't think that is a question that should be asked at the start, but it's like, are you helping this old woman because you want to? Like, is it like, I like to help people? Or is it, I have the ability to help people, therefore I should?
Right.
And then you kind of get more in depth with that, where it's like, after you heal them, do you then leave or do you bring them with you? And then that's kind of how the thought chains when I ask questions as track go. So it starts off super, super basic, where it's like your character sees something in a store that they really want, but they don't have the money for it. What do they do? Like, put a very basic, a very common scenario. Like, you can think of, you've played Dungeons and Dragons long enough, you can think of scenarios that you're probably going to end up with.
Right.
Like, if you're playing a rogue, the DM is going to put something that you might want to steal. Would your character do it? Wouldn't they? Yes or no.
Right.
Start off with yes or no, then get more in depth.
Well, and Drew actually complimented me on this. I think it was
Rare.
a compliment.
The classic. I don't know. It's Drew.
It was like, I'll take that as a compliment, and it was intended as a compliment, and it was taken as a compliment. But there are ways that it could be a not compliment.
Like, I'll cut in super fast before you say anything. At my work, there's a guy who's like a real stickler. But I'm super proud because at one point in time when I first started working there, he was like, Aaron, you are the closest thing to good help we've gotten in 20 years. And I'm like, that honestly is kind of an insult, but
like here it was a compliment, but it was like he was complimenting me on doing this, but then he was like, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it was he complimented me on my ability to make decisions that Renaya would make. And he's like, but I don't like it because those are the wrong decisions.
Minus that hot boy demon effect. No one can avoid it. It makes all the decisions harder.
Well, and that was one of the things that I like, because Drew and I did have like a really good in-depth conversation about like what our characters are doing and kind of their thoughts and things like that. And I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about Grots.
Yep, that hot boy demon effect, it gets you every time. Like,
but it was about Grots though. It was basically like, I really like, I don't know what direction it's gonna go in. There is a million. Well, no, there's pretty much two main directions
like
it can go in.
Southwest.
And now which one it's gonna go in, I can't know, and I don't know, and I like that I don't know. But whatever outcome it has is like, I just really enjoy that story. So like, I keep feeding into the Grots thing because I'm like, wherever this ends up, I'm gonna love it. I'm like, it's gonna suck for Renaya.
I just want to clarify. I will always respect. This is once again Aaron, the HR manager. We're gonna have enough clips for a compilation eventually. I always respect your decisions regarding Grots, and I absolutely believe that they are in character, regardless of how much they have been influenced by your outside of character. That is a decision that you have made for Renaya, and I will respect it and agree with it.
Gosh, no, because there's so much outside detail that hasn't been revealed yet about Renaya that makes the Grots thing make sense. I swear.
And until that is revealed, I will continue.
Now, me feeding into the romantic stuff is Lydia. That's 100% Lydia.
I feel like so for like most people, like the most effective like form of distraction, or like if I was trying to run from you, like a flashbang would be really good. But for like you specifically, I would just pull out like a body pillow, like a Grotz body pillow, and then just run away. Like hot demon, and then just run away. It would work every time.
And it's so hard because it's like, Renaya doesn't feed into the romantic stuff. But then I get made fun of for not feeding into the romantic stuff. And I'm like, oh, I want to. I'm like, I really want to. I'm trying to refrain, Renaya. But the stuff that's happened has things are a little different now. I'm just saying. I mean, you literally gave her a room. She's never had a room before.
I mean, hey, a room in the same house, you know.
And dragons in a freaking palace in the... Well, we'll ignore the abyss part. But I mean,
Dog,
you didn't really mind.
literally, Edward can get to the level where he can cast Magnificent Mansion and get you a room. Like, he just have a custom room set.
But he hasn't.
Yeah, it's because he's a little weak little boy.
Exactly.
And he's not a hot demon.
Exactly. So you know exactly, you get it.
So step 1, get to the level where he can cast Magnificent Mansion. Step 2, cast Disguise Self to look like a hot demon boy. And suddenly he's on the table?
No.
Man. What if he polymorphs himself into a hot demon boy?
No.
Is that a different situation? I really want to know the hot demon boy logistics. I need a spreadsheet.
Is it disguise self or is it a polymorph? That's a good question.
It is a full body. Well, also, for those of you who are new here, yes, this entire show is out of context. You get used to it a lot. We don't even know what we're going to talk about.
We don't know where we are.
We don't know what we're going to do. Hold on. I'm going to still swing it. But if you want the context, please check out our stream on Mondays. We have a stream on Monday, 7 p.m. CST, which is what we are kind of talking about right now. As a brief explanation, Grotst, the Demon Prince of Pleasure, is part of the story and is currently attempting to romance Lydia's character, which is hilarious and also a major sense of grief for at least one of the party members.
At least one.
A.k.a. Drew, who was mentioned earlier, who plays a paladin, who's just a stuck-up prude from my perspective. I mean, come on,
he's really not.
But yeah, we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and other stuff. You missed a wonderful conversation about book clubs earlier. Also, if you want some more insider information, I'm plugging. Give me just a minute.
Okay, I'll be right here.
We also have Twitter that we never use, but a bunch of other social media apps that we do, like Instagram, which Lydia runs, and she posts a bunch of really cool stuff on there. Yep, you send that link, Shane. Lydia, get in there.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on it.
Oh, shoot, I thought that's what you were doing. Never mind. And we also have a Discord. Discord is great. People talk a lot about to us, and most of the time we respond. We say hello at least. And Lydia sends art. I send art. Other people send art. Then we talk about. You can ask Dungeons and Dragons questions and other things, and we have a good time.
Wow.
I'm Aaron, and thank you for listening to the plug for the Paper Dungeon.
I'm Lydia.
You can now continue.
I'm easily romanced by demons.
Yes, very easily.
And then, so I have this thing that I remembered. Well, not remembered. Like it's always been there. But yes, remember. Anyway, I have a thing that I'm really, really excited for when it gets played into. Because as soon as it gets played into, dude, we're gonna have some dilemmas. I love a good dilemma.
Is it your ex-boyfriend who was also Hot Demon Boy?
No, but I kind of forgot he was a thing.
I never forget.
I don't know if like her family is ever gonna come into play, and I'm okay with that.
I hope that they do, but entirely in the background.
I do too. Like, I really hope they get incorporated in some way.
We're like at war. They like summon a Trask, like an undead Trask or something, and then like it's just a montage of us like, oh god, we're running away on our flying boat. We have a flying boat. We just got it last episode. It's pretty sweet. And then like DJ just offhandedly mentions like, oh yes, the wake of destruction left so many like creatures dead. There was an entire cult that was destroyed, and like just completely, just like never seen again. Never seen again.
Well, and it's really funny because there was actually like several leads for her family to kind of get incorporated, but it was more of a like a lot of things I try to do is I try to give DJ openness to do with it what he wants.
Oh yeah.
So he can either take it and run with it, or he can leave it behind, kind of thing.
So honestly, the more and more I thought about it, I'm gonna eat this chip. Give me just a second.
Okay, I'll keep going. But like there was Aaron,
They're really good tortilla chips. All
You're
right, I'm
distracting
getting to the
me.
bottom of the bag where
I'm
all the
trying to
salt
talk
has
about my
gotten.
demon cult family.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
so it was there was Blix. Renaya asked Blix if Blix could go and look into where her family's at and things like that. And
I
so
forgot
Blix went
about
off
her.
and
I'm
did
not gonna
that.
lie.
And then that was a really long time ago, so
Yeah.
it's fair. And then it was the first when she went to the Demon Palace the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She asked Gratz if he knew where her family was, and he was like, "I could find out." And she's like,
Do anything
"Okay,"
you want, baby.
but she didn't.
Um,
She didn't go further in with that.
but anyway, I should probably say, just so you have some general frame of reference of who we're talking about, the characters involved here.
Oh,
Renaya
right,
is a
Renaya.
cleric and
Renaya
warlock.
Renaya is the party's cleric, and then she's recently multi-classed into warlock under Grutz. She was born and raised in a spoiler alert. She was born and raised in a demon cult. Didn't escape it until like a few years ago, and then was picked up by a cleric and her party, which she was then raised to become a cleric. And then she joined with this party and was their
And
cleric
it's
for a
been
little
the
bit, and
worst
now
decision she ever made.
it's
Um,
debatable. It's
we also
debatable on where
have
she'd be.
Edward. Edward is a half elf that I always forget of the half elf. Half elf bard, played by the wonderful Grant DeFore. He's an absolute punk, and he's a little spoiled little rich boy. I kind of hate him.
Command for this?
I don't actually hate him.
I'm gonna run around.
He's an absolute idiot, though.
There we
Oh
go.
my goodness, we have a cast button.
Look at that.
Then we also have Drew, who he plays a moon elf paladin, as it is stated there.
This is
Cather.
a little outdated, but
Little outdated. We've lost a couple characters in there.
we've lost a few characters, and I've multi-classed,
Yeah.
and
But yeah, Cather he's a paladin. He's a homebrewed paladin of fate. I don't know his actual like Oath of Destiny. I think it is.
bro, I'm so excited.
He's an absolute punk. Basically, everyone in this campaign sucks, but in their own special way.
No, they don't
except
suck.
for my character, who is clearly superior. I am Aaron. I play Tarak. I am an orcish paladin, full orc, not half orc.
I went back and I watched
Oath of Redemption. It's a good time.
a little bit of like our first episode,
Terrible.
and
Like first where we're all together.
freaking yeah,
Mm,
like I think no, I watched our group one shot.
Yep. That was great.
And you play tracks so differently now.
Oh yeah, he has changed a lot.
It's crazy.
Way different.
It's very different.
And part of that is just experience playing track. Part of
Oh,
it
yeah.
is there were only 3 people there, so he was there all the time.
We all play extremely differently, but
yeah.
it just I had completely forgotten that that's how Tarak was in the beginning.
Oh, Track was almost a little bit more angry than he was now.
He was like really sweet though.
Oh yeah, no, he was like he was just amplified in both directions, very much so. Like, yeah, he did crack a lot less jokes, but he even in the beginning, like he told Edward off.
He did,
like
yeah,
multiple times, which honestly he kind of just stopped doing.
Right.
Partly because Edward does less dumb things, but also just because he doesn't really find it worth it. And like they are closer now as people, I think, than they definitely have been in the past. Which is something that is another thing that I would like to develop more for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, no, it's wild to look back at like older episodes and see like how much we've changed, both as like us as a party,
Right.
how us as individuals have changed.
Right.
You used to have long hair.
I used to have long
Like,
hair.
I honestly don't even remember what you look like with long hair. Like,
Same.
I don't. And then of course Ryan and Hannah were back then. We haven't played with them in a while, and so that adds a completely different dynamic to everything.
Right.
it's crazy to see how everything changes.
And I completely forgot that in the group one shot, I don't play for the first half.
Oh yeah.
We get, and the thing, and I like, and then we get to break, and we're like, and teacher's like, so Renaya, actually, we're gonna go to break. And I'm like, what? Okay.
So I felt so bad. So you can probably tell in the episode, but I'm like trying to get to wherever you are so hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I picked up Edward because I'm like, that's a player. I need to stick with him. If I just run, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So I just take him with me. And I'm expecting DJ to be like, oh yeah, no, you hightail it out of there. Done. No, we go on a full 20-minute chase scene.
Well, and to be fair, it was probably more my fault that that's how I got introduced because
really?
I
I
got knocked unconscious in my one shot. That was bad. I remember being so stressed in that one shot.
To be fair, so I will state, also for those of you who don't know about it, we did something a little fun. We had individual one shots with each of the characters that kind of explained who the character is, what they're doing, and why they're in the situation. Then we also split into groups of 3, and then we eventually got to where both of those groups were combined into one.
Mm-hmm.
My one shot was very it was very you haven't seen it, right?
I haven't seen yours. I don't know what happens in yours.
Nothing that I can't reveal now. So my one shot starts off with me in prison. I had been captured by the Athalan government because I was an orc. I meet a guard. The guard is Naya. You have met her as well, and her daughter Mary. And then it turns out that Mary got a disease. She got the orcish disease that the other kids got in Athala. Yes.
I think you've I
think I may have explained it, or at least I may have explained it in game. And so Drac goes. He breaks out of jail, finds her, heals her, and then basically I think it's Naya. It's either Naya or Nala, but Nala is the lion from Lion King. So Nyla. Oh, it's a combination of the two. It's written in my notes. It's one of the few things that I have. It's like, well, you're the only orc here, so this is probably your fault. Which is why she didn't welcome me back in, really, when I showed up the last time that we were there. And that was pretty much it. So in terms of entertaining one shots that had a lot of action and fun stuff, mine was pretty tame. You at least had fear.
Well, and I remember really struggling because I didn't know where I was supposed to end up. I didn't know what direction I was supposed to go in, and I just remember every decision I was given, I was in my head I was this is either the right or the wrong.
Yep.
And that wasn't on DJ. That was totally me in my head. And so my thing, it got to the point where I had to fight Melancina. Well, I didn't have to fight Melancina. I could have ran.
Yeah. But that wouldn't have been terribly in character for you.
But then I was like, I could run, but I think DJ wants me to fight her. And so then I fight her. And then she gets one hit and knocks me unconscious, and I literally sit there and I go, I wasn't supposed to fight her. And then it just leads into the first mini arc of our campaign.
In some ways, I kind of wish that instead of a 2-month time skip multiple times, I wish that we legitimately got a 5-year time skip, because then could you imagine the scene? Correction. 2 5-year time skips. Imagine the scene. Of course, things can still kind of flow the same way that they were, with some minor changes. But we fly into battle, we land, and we're fighting. We see this one soldier, and he pulls up the helmet, and it's just gushing. What, Simon? Was that his name?
Samuel.
Samuel. It's Samuel. He's 23 and shredded. And he's like, "You saved my life. I must repay you." He's like storms into battle. Like, that's sick.
This is tiny
I'm
gnome.
so in. Yeah, 100%. He's just, I honestly forgot he was a gnome. But he's just like this like 3-foot tall shredded gnome who's like, "Renaya, you saved my life once. I must repay you." I'm so in.
Oh gosh.
Yes, and this is an accurate statement. Tiny fighters are terrifying because they have
100%. Dude, have you seen Sylvie?
They have the full strength of a like 8-foot person packed into a like 3-foot body.
Right.
And that
Sylvie,
should be. It's like using dynamite versus nitroglycerin. Like, one of them is way more terrifying and probably more volatile.
Yeah, freaking Sylvie is the main carrier of that. Sylvie is my assassin rogue in Table Scraps when we play.
Yeah.
When we play on here.
As rarely as that happens, which I'm kind of down with. Okay, so this is the thought. So, theoretically, I want to know, because I've been getting an itch recently. I would love to, on Table Scraps, play like almost a more focused mini-series every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, where we play in like previous worlds that I've DM'd in or played in and stuff like that.
Right.
Because I really want to do, and this would be good practice for a thing that we might be planning to do later that involves some higher level like characters and stuff. But I would love to do like a level 18 to 19, like maybe even a level 20. Heck, I might even go like as far as like epic boon level. Like an epic boon level short little thing that we just play on Table Scraps. Where we go to the world of Marith. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure is most of you, I DM'd for like 2 years for a group back here where I live, in person, like in high school. That was the world of Marith, and we ended right before this like cataclysmic battle.
Right.
They
Yeah,
had like a giant mech, and like they were gonna go fight basically like a half god. Not even a demigod, like a literal mortal that was imbued with the power of a full god, and like given domain over like life and death, and it was going to be like a world destroy, like a city destroying fight, and then we just never played it again because like we like graduated and then everyone left. And I would love to pick up, because I know exactly where we would pick up. We would pick up after that fight is over. And basically, so how that fight was going to end, regardless of who won the fight, because there was things going on behind the scenes. One of the previous characters who had to go, like he left before we had finished, was wandering the world, basically trying to unlock it. So the world functions basically similar to Dark Sun or Athos, where like it's locked off from the other planes. Except unlike Dark Sun, where the elemental planes are still free to reign, it is the celestial planes that won the fight. So any of the other planes have been completely locked off from the rest of the world, and basically his character was moving around unlocking those bonds. So regardless of who wins the fight, he used that moment to unlock the final chain, keeping the planes separate, and literally the world just like kind of explodes. So like I really want to run like a post-apocalyptic, not even post-apocalyptic, it's just full on the apocalypse, where like the world has broken down, there are like clear divided lines. A monstrous creature has risen from the ocean that almost encapsulates like a portion of the world, like 20th level characters that have been imbued with the power of these planes that have been recently unleashed, where you just go and straight up like kill like the last god remaining. I want it so bad. I want to do it so bad, and that's just a thing that I would like. I would like that.
I mean, this is your show, my guy.
Well, yeah, but like it is my show, but my players have to agree to this. And I would love if like people actually. Wait, you were there with the bag of holding arrow? Oh, or do you just already know that? We literally talked about the bag of holding arrow earlier in the show.
That'd be amazing if you didn't know we had talked about it before.
That would be great.
But I'm freaking down. I've never played at an extremely high level before.
It's a perfect chance.
I really want to play that. My tarot.
Yes, that is completely allowed. It's fine. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I don't care.
I don't know if I want to do that.
You would get to experience the full range of your class's abilities.
To what? I'm
just saying.
And then.
Yeah, that's what I want, and I would love if people find it interesting. It is definitely something that I will pursue. I at least want to do like a one shot in the world.
100%.
But I'm currently playing in a like epic boon level game, and it is just an absolute blast. And I want to DM for it. It's like really bad.
Gosh, it intimidates me because I'm not super big brain with like all the abilities.
Like a barbarian.
I played a barbarian last year for something, and it was a higher level, and I struggled. I really struggled with it.
I'm trying to think of something similar. Play a champion fighter.
That would be a good move, yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Okay, so this is off topic,
we don't do that here, Lydia.
It's jumping back to the main campaign. You heard it actually briefly mentioned a little bit yesterday, but you don't know what it originally from. So, Drew and I, remember when I mentioned Drew and I had that big conversation that was really cool and things like that were blah, blah, blah. Part of that conversation, Drew and I think we pieced something together, and I'm kind of bummed that he's not here to be like help me remember all the stuff we covered in this conversation. But one of the things that we kind of landed on was Cather and Renaya are yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
Are this like yin and yang for each other. And that's so freaking cool the more you think about it. And then it's like, because the big thing that led me with it was when Gratz had looked at their souls. So, and then told Renaya, it was like, his soul is blinding, but hers is pitch black.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, bro, that's some that's some yin and yang stuff right there, kind of stuff. But we explored it a lot more. But as far as what that means, I don't know what that means. But I'm really excited. Have you noticed anything like that as far as that whole
I always kind of
story
assumed
element
that it was ever since the scene where Cather's gods were like, hey yo, you might have to kill this chick. I've been like, so the thing about yin and yang is it's symbolized by like black and white. There's no gray in yin and yang, which has kind of been an ongoing theme. So I think it's always been kind of present. I don't know about specific examples that I've noticed, but I think that it is definitely an ongoing theme. That is a very interesting thing to explore. Also, thank you for showing up, Noxus. It's nice to have new blood around here. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Follow us on Twitter. We don't use it, but follow us anyway.
Yeah, I just think that's really cool. I'm really excited for it. I think
finally I had hair in my
I think
mouth.
it'll be interesting with how it plays out though, because like I'm really interested to see how Cather gets to that.
So this is completely off from what so as an answer to your question of whether or not it'll be interesting, part of it I think will just be leveling up. Like there is kind of this weird thing that happens in Dungeons and Dragons where it's like a lot of the time they will naturally become those roles just by sheer measure of like, oh, they're 20th level. A 20th level paladin is akin to like a blinding light in the darkness. So like it
Right.
may just be him hitting like level 20. Most people aren't even capable of that feat. Like that's what makes adventurers that have levels like we do, like player characters, so impressive to like the common person. Because like not everyone has the ability to go that far. So it could be implying that. Who knows? DJ could do some stuff. Drew might have some stuff. I mean, I know that Drew has some stuff hidden.
And I think, and the thing that Drew and I were talking about was our ideal and what we think it'll work into is it's not their opposing forces, but it's them working together.
Yeah, it's like a
but
ruling
they are,
council.
Yeah. I just think it's so cool. It's so fun. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So what I find interesting is the yin and yang concept for characters works very well when it's two people. The problem is what happens when someone attempts to interfere with that yin and yang, which is something that I might be looking towards as Tarak, because that's very much a Tarak move, where it's like, no, I understand these are two great people. I am also here. Like this is and part of it is it's like no. This isn't a story that just has two people in it. I'm not a side character here. I'm goddamn Tarak. And that is such a great thing. And one of the things that I would love Tarak to be, and I've kind of mentioned, it kind of works with behind the scenes. I've mentioned to Lydia a couple of different like possibilities, like if Tarak were to get another another name, like what they would be. And depending on the names, that's like one of the ones that I expressed to you I'm really interested in. It's like a super great representation of that. Where it's like, no, I don't care if this is some preordained thing. You literally can't stop me. And I would kind of love if like Tarak ended up being like unfettered by destiny. Like that's been like Ranaya's thing. But it's like, you're still there. Like destiny is still afflicted to you, regardless of how you change it.
I love the idea of us all playing into a fate in like these drastically different ways. I know we've talked about it. I don't remember where Edward's at, but it's like Cather follows fate. Renaya almost like uses fate.
I think that Renaya changes fate and Tarak defies fate. I think that would be where not necessarily change, but like directs.
Manipulates.
I think that's a good word, because both you and Cather have that kind of like, no, we want fate and destiny to go in a specific way, but like you manipulate is good because it's a bit darker of a term, where it's like, no, I'm going to use it. Like this isn't like a ooh, I'm going to push it in the correct direction. No, it's like, I'm going to take it and I'm going to have it do what I want. And then I would love if Tarak is just like, no, screw that. No.
He's like, no.
No.
I don't
You're not going to tell me what to do. He's just standing in a river and it parts around him. He's like, no. That's kind of where I want Tarak to end up. Like, not yin and yang. He's literally outside of the circle. Like, I would love that.
Yeah. And then where's we've talked about it before, but I don't remember where it was, where we put Edward as far as fate.
A normal person. Edward is the chronicler of fate, where he has no control over it.
I was just there.
But he is there, and he is going to tell the story, and he's going to write it down. And it's basically, he is privileged to watch and participate in the machinations of God. He gets to bear witness to miracles, and that is what he does. And I love that, because it's such that is not first of all, that's not an easy role to play.
Right.
Um, like especially as like a player, like you want to be. Every player wants to have their moments where it's like, I am the star of this show.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna deny
You
that.
want to have your
And
main character moment.
I still think that Edward will, and he probably has. Well, I don't know. I don't think Edward's really had like a big, like a major life changing, huge. Like he's had a lot of things that have
He's
affected him
had
drastically.
a lot of really he's had a lot of really big impacts on him,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think he's had a big moment yet.
Yeah, where it's like, I mean, you can think of specific moments for each of the characters where it's like they do this specific thing, or they a lot of times in combat, especially because
Hmm.
he isn't a combat focused character.
Right. Right.
Like Renaya killing the witch,
Hmm.
Cather. I mean, Cather's is probably most of his moments are probably out of story, like out of combat. Out of story. I don't know what I'm saying there, but his like big moments,
Hmm.
like when I think of Cather, I think of like conversations with Cather. I
Hmm.
think that Cather probably has the strongest conversation game in the show.
I think so too.
And like him just explaining like who he is and what he does, but I can't think of any specific like moment that has like defined Cather in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
Track has the like killing the Dracolich now,
Hmm.
um, and like killing the orcs. That was like a
That was a
that was
big
like
one.
a big
That was a
singular moment
big,
for Track.
big one.
I think strangely enough, killing the orcs was a big Cather moment in a strange way, where it's like specifically like Track
Yeah.
talking to Cather. I think that really changed.
That was a big Cather change moment. Yes.
I think that was a
I
big
agree.
thing
I
for
agree.
him.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
I need to. Everything I know is dying. But yeah, Edward really hasn't had like a I am Edward. I'm the one. I am the hero.
Well, there was one time where he did when he responded to his father.
Yeah, there was like
And that was a big one, but it wasn't a like pivotal change in Edward
yeah, but it wasn't
that
like a
happened.
thing that I would like add to a compilation of craziest moments in the show.
Right, but it
Where
was a
everyone
strong
like
Edward
cheers
moment.
or everyone is crying. Like
Right.
it was like a big important moment,
Mhm.
but it wasn't anything like I don't know. It wasn't compilation worthy yet. And I guarantee you he'll have it. I think part of it will
Oh,
be
100%.
in terms of like leveling up, like how his
Yeah.
I have a little bit of insight into Grant's plans for Edward in terms of leveling up.
Uh-huh.
A little bit of I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell anyone. But I don't know if you know or not. But he has explicitly said that I shouldn't tell anyone. uh, but I think that there will be. I don't. It may be Edward might be our best late game asset. I'm gonna say it right now. I think that the biggest Edward moments will come around like level 12 to 15.
I think we have some big Edward moments like
I mean,
coming soon.
yeah, I mean, yeah. But I think that the strongest time for Edward is going to be correct. I'm going to change it. Levels 12 to 18 are going to be Edward's strongest levels. Like in terms of character, moments, like combat. I think that is when Edward is really going to shine.
I can see it. Yeah.
Which is really good because we need late game sustainability in terms of like entertainment value. Like we don't want to burn out too quick, guys. We're only we're not even level 8 yet. We're not even halfway there.
Dude, I want to level up so bad.
I'm fine with it. Level ups for Tarak are like at least the next level up, and anytime that he gets a stat increase, gonna be pretty basic.
Well, yeah. I mean, after this level, it's the same here.
Level 8 for Tarak is congratulations, a +2 bonus to charisma. Brings his charisma to like a 14 or something. No, like a 16, I think. Woo! Mm-hmm. Big whoop. But yeah, no. I if Tarak does live to level 20, which I sincerely it's gonna be tough. And literally the fight with the skeleton reconfirmed it reconfirmed that Tarak can still die. Specifically
Yeah.
now, because like I hadn't used his ability that allows him to absorb damage from other people until
Now
that
you
fight.
have that.
Now I have it, and I can
Now,
die so fast.
oh gosh, that gives me a moral dilemma. Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah, so that's I legitimately I don't know if Track makes it to level 20. I don't know if he I don't even know if he make I don't know if we'll make it to level 20 in the campaign, but I would say that it's probably at the moment it might be 40-60 that he makes it to the end of the campaign. I think once he hits level like I don't know if it's level 11 or level 15 that it jumps up to probably being like an 80-20. But like until that point,
here's my thing. If Tarak dies, Renaya's not going to be too far behind him.
I think
Because Tarak is
it'll
one
be
of the
okay.
main reasons Renaya has made it this far.
No. We see the thing is, without Tarak, you guys don't have your freebie. You don't have your cushion and your barrier.
Tarak is not a freaking freebie.
Kind of is.
No.
Well, I mean, it just means that you have to play differently. You have to like approach combat from a different direction.
But I like the dynamic that we have.
Oh, I think it's great.
It's boss dynamic. I don't want Tarak to die. I don't want.
I mean, I don't want Tarak to die either, but I also I don't want Tarak to die, but I do want a character I play to die.
See, that's what I wanted, and then I did die, and then it sucked.
Well, yeah, but you came back.
Right. But imagine how much it would have sucked if she like legit died right there.
It would have been real awkward.
It would have been real awkward.
Real awkward.
That would have sucked so much.
Yeah.
Then she got brought back, and then it was, man, it was a bit of a rain on my parade with that whole moment. But
so I have a kind of weird perception when it comes to character death. It may be from just years of DMing. The thing about characters dying is that the player doesn't, and you get to make another character, which is fun. And so I've never had a character die, and so the other thing is I also don't get as emotionally attached to my characters as I know you do. Like I love Tarak.
There's a specific reason why that would have why it would have been crummy if that was the way it ended. And why why it happened, why it happening that way was crummy. And it was because I had put in place like death was a big thing for Renaya. It was like that was like, you know, in like Vicen when you choose your dark secret and then once that dark secret
what is your big
revealed,
fear that no one can ever know?
Then you've got to find a new one and things like that. Well, that was kind of Renaya's dark secret but it wasn't a dark secret, but she was really afraid of dying.
Yeah, it was like,
there was a lot of,
it was your absolute phobia.
It was a really big thing for Renaya. And the part that it was actually crummy is more that she did get brought back from it.
Yeah.
Or that her getting brought back wasn't literally seconds after it happened. Like if it would have been like Havel has to take Renaya back to the group, and then they've got to get a hold of Lada, and they've got to figure out some other way to get her back in a different way.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more powerful. But since it was literally, oh, she's down. Nope, she's back up. We're good. And when it was already when it was supposed to be this big deal to her, like really threw me off. And then, but then I kind of like tweaked it going forward, so she's not scared of dying anymore. But the fact that it was kind of such a boom, it happened, all right, let's keep going.
Yeah,
let's keep going. I took that instead and kind of developed a new thing for Renaya with it, which I'm really enjoying. But yeah, it definitely wasn't how it was supposed to be.
So I've legitimately in the past I've considered like having Tarak express that if he dies, like to not bring him back. But I also
Mm-hmm.
felt like that would be unfair because it's like, well, you have the capability to bring him back, just bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt just like unnecessarily complicating things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I haven't. Now I do think that Tarak would not like to be brought back by anything other than revivify. Like reincarnate, no, nothing. If it's been longer than a minute, leave him dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that would be the track move. Because I think he may have even I think he may have even talked about it in game, like very briefly, where it was like the soul hasn't left the body if it's been over a minute, like if it's been under a minute.
You've talked to me about it. I
I
don't.
don't.
I
Yeah,
don't think
I
it's been
don't
said in
know.
game.
Um,
Um.
and so the main thing is, so right now we're at the level where uh casting spells to bring people back from the dead is super easy
Mm-hmm.
because we are literally loaded with cash.
Mm-hmm.
And so roughly the price of the mortal soul is 100 gold pieces,
Mm-hmm.
um, of which we have multiple diamonds worth of.
Yeah.
And that's kind of thing I never like in my games that like IDM. I don't like revivify. Like I'm fine with like high level like resurrection spells that are like they take
Mm-hmm.
like minutes at a time. There are consequences even when you're brought back where it's like, oh no, you straight up have like -5 to all your stats or whatever, and like levels of exhaustion or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that because that's like
Mm-hmm.
bringing people back from the dead should be like a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think DJ has plans to like make it a consequence to bring someone
Right.
back from the dead.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like I don't know. It feels revivify feels so easy, especially because it's an action.
Well, yeah, and what I really, yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same place where it's like I'd actually prefer if Revivify wasn't an option because it's like I already have Spare the Dying.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that gives it more of a challenge in combat where it's like especially since Revivify is you have 1 minute. So you have multiple
10
rounds
rounds
to
of
get to
combat to
them.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a
You have
round of combat is
multiple
a long
rounds
time.
to get over to them. Um, but with um, but if you were to take it out of the equation, I still have Spare the Dying, which
Mm-hmm.
still gives us that factor of if you go down, you're not done, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is still kind of a okay. Well, your character doesn't know how long they have until they are dead.
Yep. It might be
Out of
3 rounds.
game,
It
like
might be
out of
two.
game,
It might be none.
you'll know where they're at. But I still like to go based on like what would Renaya do in this round to best help the party? And if that is not to get to like say Cather goes down, if that is not to go and spare the dying Cather,
Mm-hmm.
then she's not gonna do it, kind of thing. Um, but it's also like, but then I also have bonus action healing word, so then you just do that, and
Yeah.
they're conscious and things like that. So yeah, I can agree with you with Revivify is kind of a
I'm not a fan of it.
it feels kind of like the cheap option.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and a lot of it is just because like 100 gold for a lot of like money is so difficult in
Right.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Like as a DM, like you want to, you know how crummy it feels to reward your party, where it's like, wow, you get 5,000 split between copper and silver, like individual coins. You get 5,000 coins between copper and silver, which totals up to like $50.
You're right.
Like 50 gold coins.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you want to make it, you want to like being rewarded in gold feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like ooh gold value, but I think because the a thing that is very difficult for DMs is to translate. If you're going to give your party more gold, the cost of spells and other things also needs to increase.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't have it remain the same when the income increases. Then it just makes it so easy to throw out like super expensive things. But there are some spells that do need to be reduced in cost regardless. For example, Glyph of Warding. Why does it cost 500 gold and ruby dust? It's a 3rd level spell that's worse than a fireball. It's terrible. It's just not a good... It's a DM spell because no player would ever use it, except for me if it didn't cost 500 ruby dust to gosh dang use. It's so cool. But anyway, we've been going for like almost 3 hours. I'm supposed to meet DJ in 15 minutes, give or take.
Because I need to go get some food.
Yes, that's what we're going to be doing. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I know that we got a couple of new people. I think I had I know I had a lot of fun. Lydia, I hope that you had a good time.
I had a blast.
Check out our additional things, like our Discord that Lydia just sent, and all the other things that we have, like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as YouTube Shorts, and Spotify, and Podbean, and Apple Podcast.
If it's a podcast, things. We got it.
If it's a podcast, it's there. Like 90% of the time. Other than that, check us out on, I don't know if I already said, check us out on Monday nights at 7 p.m. CST for the main campaign. If I didn't, you should do that. Thank you again for stopping by, and I think the only thing I have left to say is good luck and godspeed.
Woo!
We will see you next time, Dungeoneers.
Heck yeah.
Everyone, please have a good night.